Listen to me. I have been waiting for 2 hours to tell you this. Not just idle waiting, but divine anticipation. I've been watching, casing the threshold of your breakthrough, ready to release something that will reroute your entire atmosphere. This is not a coincidence. It's not a passing word. This is your moment. Every second of this message carries something sacred. So don't scroll. Don't skim. Don't blink. Stay locked in until the final breath, because what's buried in these words is what your spirit has been starving for. I am speaking through this, and I don't speak in vain. What I'm about to reveal will expose lies, awaken purpose, and set something in motion that's been delayed long enough. You're not just watching a video, you are standing in a divine appointment. And when it ends, you will not be the same. Are you ready? Then stay. I'm speaking right now. My beloved child, I want you to feel the weight of these words. I have been watching the clock of your heart, not the ticking of a mechanical device on a wall, but the rhythm of your spirit, the pulse of your longing, the secret beat of your unspoken prayers. Every sigh you've exhaled into the silence, I recorded. Every fleeting moment where you wondered, is this the hour, Lord? I was there, fully present, fully aware, leaning in with holy anticipation. You see, time for me isn't bound by numbers and schedules. It's wrapped in purpose, dripping with divine precision. I don't watch time like a human counting down seconds. I weigh it. I inhabit it. I infuse it with meaning. And your time, your process, your becoming, is sacred to me. I've not rushed you, and I've not forgotten you. I've been sitting with you in every moment that felt wasted, every hour that felt like delay, every night where the stillness screamed louder than any answer. And while you measured your life by clocks and calendars, I was watching the eternal clock of your becoming. And beloved, I want you to hear this with the fullness of your heart. Every second has been sacred to me. You didn't realize it, but even your waiting has been worship. You thought you were idle. You thought you were stuck. But I saw a holy patience growing in the soil of your surrender. I saw time turning into testimony. I saw delay becoming the very thing that shaped your discernment. Your silence wasn't empty, it was an altar. Your stillness wasn't passive. It was the posture I needed to pour into. Child, I am not distant from your hours. I dwell in them. I move inside the milliseconds of your faith. I hover over the minutes when your heart quietly whispered my name without sound. While the world ran fast, I walked slowly with you, hand in hand, so I could show you that my timing doesn't steal from you. It saves you. It saves you from lesser things, from premature places, from versions of the promise that would have broken you. I've never been late. I've never lost track of you. I've been watching you not like a judge with a stopwatch, but like a father holding the hourglass of heaven over your life with reverence and care. The clock of your heart has not gone unnoticed. I have seen every beat. I have cherished every ache. And now, this moment, yes, this one, has come because I declare it is time. Not just any time. Not just a random breakthrough, but the divine fulfillment of seconds that were never wasted. Let me draw you into a truth so deep it echoes across eternity. I have been waiting, not pacing in irritation, not folding my arms in impatience. No, I have waited with the patience of eternity, the patience of a father who knows the masterpiece he's painting takes more than a moment to reveal. I didn't wait because you were failing or falling behind. I waited because what I carry for you cannot, must not, will not be rushed. Like a seed swelling beneath the soil, your promise has needed time to root before it rises. And yes, I've heard the aching questions echo through your soul. Why not now, Lord? What am I missing? Haven't I waited long enough? But child, hear me. Your waiting has not been punishment. It has been preparation. Divine delay is not divine denial. I haven't withheld this promise out of cruelty, but out of care, because premature blessings can become burdens when delivered before readiness. And I love you too much to give you something that will collapse under pressure. What I hold for you is too weighty for weak foundations, too holy for hurried hands. While you have been pacing, I've been placing the right people, the right pathways, the right pieces into position, not around you only, but within you. There are parts of your character I've been quietly fortifying. You thought I was silent, but I was stitching strength into the fragile places of your heart. I was weaving wisdom where insecurity once lived. I was stretching your discernment, your resilience, your vision. Because when I release what's coming next, it won't be a trickle, it will be a torrent. It won't be a glimpse, it will be a glory. And I refuse to let you stand before that wave without the roots deep enough to hold you steady. I have not waited because I was punishing you. I've waited because I was protecting what I planted in you. The blessing is ready, child, but more importantly, so are you. You were once fragile, but now you're fortified. You were once shaken, but now you're steady. And the reason I waited this long wasn't to torment you. It was because I could see something in you that you couldn't see yet. Your readiness. Not just the readiness of desire, but the readiness of depth. That quiet, sacred strength that no applause can measure and no timeline can predict. And still, because I know your heart, I must tell you this too. I have not watched your waiting from afar. I've been sitting with you. Every morning you opened your eyes, wondering if this would be the day. I was already there. Every night you laid down, asking if you were forgotten. I covered you with presence. Even when you fell furthest from me, I was closest. I've counted every tear that fell into the void of unanswered questions. I've caught each one, stored them, and I've poured them into the oil I will soon use to anoint the very path you feared would never appear. The blessing I'm bringing carries the scent of those tears. It is seasoned with every prayer you whispered into pillows, into darkness, into what felt like deaf silence. Oh, but I heard them all. And now, because you trusted me through the silence, I will answer you with a shout. Heaven has been pregnant with what I have promised. And now, beloved, now it begins to crown. The moment is near. The veil is thinning. The clock of eternity has struck its hour. And this next unveiling carries the fragrance of destiny's ripening. Do not rush. Do not panic. Just remain. Stay right here in the stillness. For what I've held back until now, I am about to pour forth with purpose and precision. Child, in these last 2 hours, yes, even in the minutes that seemed mundane, I have been leaning in closer than your very breath. I whispered not to be ignored, but because your soul has grown mature enough to detect my whisper amid the noise. That stirring you felt, the tension in your chest, the sense that something was about to break open but hadn't yet. It was me. I wasn't far. I wasn't waiting to be summoned. I was already speaking, already circling, already covering the atmosphere around you with a holy invitation. I didn't need a microphone. I didn't need to shake the heavens. I simply needed your pause. Because in that sacred stillness, your spirit began to tune out the chaos and lock into my frequency. That flutter in your spirit, that sudden awareness when you almost turned this message off, but didn't. That was me, whispering your name, not in frustration, but in tender insistence. Not because you failed to hear before, but because now you're finally still enough to respond. And why a whisper, you ask? Because a whisper requires closeness. A whisper can't be heard from a distance. It demands intimacy. I could have thundered, yes. I could have shaken the ground or sent a sign so loud it left you breathless. But instead, I chose the whisper because I want you close. I want your attention undivided, not because I'm insecure, but because you need this word more than you know. I want to draw your heart like a lover draws near, not out of duty, but desire. You've prayed for me to speak, but now I need you to listen with your soul, not just your ears. For what I'm about to say will unlock not just your next step, but your next identity. And beloved, I must also tell you this truth. In these 2 hours, heaven has not been still. Angels have hovered. Instructions have been dispatched. Movements have begun in places you cannot yet see. You thought you were waiting, but you were being watched, weighed, and welcomed into alignment. There's been a countdown in heaven, and with every passing second, I have leaned in more, not because I was unsure, but because I was preparing you to finally believe that yes, this message, this moment, this voice is for you. So hear me now, child, not with fear, but with fullness. These whispers are not weak. They are woven with wonder. They carry weight because they bypass the intellect and land straight into your spirit. They will not leave you as they found you. They will birth boldness where hesitation once lived. I'm whispering destiny into your bones. I'm resurrecting dreams you buried under disappointment. I'm breathing clarity into the corners of your mind clouded by false timelines. I'm not here just to comfort you. I'm here to commission you. And it starts with the whisper. A whisper that breaks cycles. A whisper that silences shame. A whisper that sets the entire atmosphere of your life into motion. Child, I didn't just whisper your name to call your attention. I whispered your name to remind you. I have never stopped knowing you. And now, your name is echoing through eternity. Angels are moving on behalf of the one I whispered to. And heaven is responding, not just because you paused, but because in your pause, you finally realized you were always pursued. I want you to know that the stirring you've been feeling, the one you tried to shake off, ignore, rationalize, or bury under busyness, was not your imagination. It wasn't anxiety. It wasn't coincidence. It was me. It has always been me. That weight you couldn't explain, that heaviness that came over you like an invisible wave, wasn't a burden. It was my presence pressing in. I have been brushing against the borders of your thoughts, invading your atmosphere without a sound, interrupting your routine with a holiness you didn't have language for. I didn't need to break through your door with thunder. I chose to come with divine density. I chose to sit upon your spirit like a mantle, not to crush you, but to cloak you in glory. The unease you felt wasn't confusion. It was a sacred discomfort sent to awaken you from the slumber of surviving. I never designed you to just exist. I created you to encounter. And what you were calling restlessness was actually your soul responding to my proximity. You see, when my glory draws near, the human heart doesn't always know how to interpret it. It may feel like pressure, like a quickening, like a tension between your now and your not yet. And that's what you've been feeling. A gap between what you've known and what I'm about to show you. I've been brooding over you like I did at the dawn of creation, hovering, stirring, preparing to speak light into the formless places of your life. My presence does not knock like a guest. It arrives like a cloud, like oil, like weighty wind that shifts the entire internal climate of your being. That's why you felt waves of emotion without reason. That's why you had sudden moments of weeping with no explanation. Because when I come close, your soul remembers me, even if your mind cannot yet comprehend. I'm not just visiting you, child. I'm inhabiting the places you made room for, often unknowingly. Every ache, every surrender, every silent yes. You build a throne for me without knowing that's what you were doing. And now I have come to sit where you made space. Let me say this with holy clarity. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It's a gift. You are not too much or too emotional, too spiritual. You are tuned. You are chosen. You are aware of the shift because you were designed to carry the shift. Others may walk blindly past what I'm doing in this hour, but not you. You felt me coming. You've heard the divine drumbeat beneath the surface of your stillness. You've carried an anticipation in your chest like a pregnant pause in the middle of chaos. That is what makes you dangerous to the enemy and precious to me. Because you didn't silence the stirring, you let it stretch you. You let it lead you to your knees. And now, beloved, I am turning that stirring into strategy. That pressure is becoming purpose. The glory pressing against you is now preparing to pour through you. I came not just to awaken you, but to release something in you that's been waiting for my weight to unlock. So do not resist the feeling. Do not push down the pressure. Lean into it. Press into my presence the way my presence have been pressing into you. Because what's coming next will not come through striving. It will come through sensitivity. My child, let me lift the veil from your eyes so you can see the sacred story I've been writing in the background of your busyness. You assumed you were just distracted, drifting from thought to thought, pulled by 1,000 different tugs, unable to focus, unsure of why your heart felt so noisy. But I tell you the truth. You weren't being distracted, you were being drawn. Like Moses turning aside to a bush that burned without being consumed. You were being lured, gently, persistently, into the very moment that is unfolding now. This is not random. This is not accidental. This is divine choreography. What felt like delay was me designing an entrance. What felt like a detour was me disarming your resistance. I've been guiding your every pause, every interruption, every longing, to lead you here, to the divine appointment that begins not yesterday, not tomorrow, but right now. Do you feel the shift? Do you sense the atmosphere trembling around this sentence? That's not poetic language, it's prophetic reality. This very moment hath been etched in eternity. All of heaven has held its breath, waiting for this intersection, this collision between what I've promised and what you've endured. The notifications, the noise, the scrolling, the fog, they all tried to steal your awareness. But I am not limited by distractions. I can use what was meant to scatter you to summon you. That's what this is, beloved, a summons. A holy interruption. A sacred detour back into destiny's unfolding. You thought you were wandering, but I was weaving. You thought you missed something, but you were magnetized by mercy toward this moment. And now, your yes carries the weight of eternity. Because when you say yes in this moment, you're not just agreeing to hear me, you're agreeing to move with me. You're stepping into alignment with the rhythm of what I've already released in the spirit. And let me say this with sacred intensity. There is a difference between distraction and divine redirection. You've been trained to see interruption as weakness, to view mental wandering as failure. But I see it differently. I've used what felt like confusion to carve out clarity. I've allowed the swirl so I could lead you to surrender. Because when your strength was exhausted by trying to focus, your spirit became still enough to feel me. And in that stillness, between one distraction and the next, I slipped in. I spoke in sighs. I stirred in glances. I pulled your heart back again and again, until this moment became irresistible. Do not be ashamed of how long it took you to get here. Do not feel guilty for missing the signs. Heaven does not chain process. Heaven honors arrival. And you are here now, fully present, fully available. And I, your God, am fully ready to speak things into your life that no one else has the language for. This is the moment your timeline turns. The second the script of your season flips. Not because you were perfect, but because you were present. You didn't force this. You found this. You didn't manufacture it. You responded to it. And because of that, child, this moment is sealed. You stepped into the sacred, and I will meet you in this place like never before. Child, stop questioning your timing. I hear your thoughts, the ones you keep buried beneath your smile, the ones that whisper, did I miss it? Did I delay too long? Did I walk past what you were trying to give me? But hear me clearly, you didn't miss anything. You arrived exactly on time, divine time. Not the time marked by men's schedules, but the time heaven had marked with fire. There are moments not measured by hours or minutes, but by readiness. And this was one of them. I didn't need you to be earlier. I needed you to be ready. I needed your soul to be soft, your defenses lowered, your attention undivided. You arrived when the window opened, when the veil lifted, when the river of revelation began to rush. And I want you to feel this, deeply feel this, not as a nice thought, but as sacred truth. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. Everything you thought was delay was divine choreography. The detours were directional. The silence was strategic. What felt like wandering was actually me walking you away from things that would have polluted the purity of this moment. I didn't just want you to hear me, I wanted you to trust me. And trust requires space. Trust requires tension. Trust requires the illusion of distance so that your spirit learns to cling not to results, but to me. And now, because you didn't let go, even when your logic begged you to, I've brought you to the very threshold you once thought you missed. You didn't miss it, beloved. You became it. You didn't walk past the moment. You grew into it. The you that's reading this now is not the same you who would have seen it earlier. And that matters to me. I protect my promises, and I protect my children from receiving what they aren't yet able to carry without collapse. And child, what I'm about to release isn't small. It's not a whisper. It's a wave. Not a spark, but a supernova. And this moment had to be met with your maturity, not just your desire. Let me give you heaven's language for what's happening. This is a window. And windows don't stay open forever. They open in appointed time, in sacred rhythm. They swing wide when all has aligned. Your heart, my will, the spiritual atmosphere, and the readiness of everything around you. And now, that window is open. You've stepped into it, not by accident, but by design. I orchestrated every delay that frustrated you so I could position you at this exact second. I kept you hidden when you wanted exposure. I silenced opportunities that would have distracted your spirit. And now, because you have chosen to believe again, even in the aftermath of disappointment, I am unveiling the very thing that was being formed behind the curtain all along. You arrived, not a minute too soon or a second too late. Heaven hath been waiting for your yes, and now your yes has collided with my release. So breathe deeply, trust freely, walk boldly, because the window is open, and what you see through it will change everything. My child, do you know how much you matter to me? Do you really understand the extent to which I've prioritized this moment? Let me show you a glimpse of what happens in the unseen. I choose to speak to you. Not crowds, not congregations, not movements or multitudes. You. I held back angelic announcements. I delayed the dispatch of destiny to others. I paused entire divine timelines, because your heart needed a moment of undivided attention from mine. You weren't just next in line. You were the reason the line stopped moving. I said, wait. He's ready. He's listening. This is the moment I must make personal. That's how much I value you. That's how fierce my love is. That's how intentional my pursuit has always been. I've never spoken just to fill silence. I speak to fill souls. And right now, I am doing exactly that. You've been in rooms where you felt like just another face. You've heard sermons that felt like echoes instead of encounters. You've begged me, God, I don't want second-hand fire. I don't want recycled revelation. I need to know that you see me. And this right here, is me proving that I do. I see every inch of you. The battles behind your smile. The faith behind your fatigue. The courage behind your quiet. I saw your trembling hands reach again when it felt safer to retreat. I watched you lean in when the last time left you hurting. And because of that, I paused everything else. Not because you're louder than others, but because you were stiller. Still enough for me to draw close and speak what no angel can deliver. There are some things too holy to delegate, too sacred to send through messengers. This one, I had to say myself. I had to place my voice into your atmosphere. Not through lightning, but through love. Not with a trumpet, but with truth. And child, let me tell you this with eternal weight. When I speak personally, everything around you begins to shift. Your atmosphere catches fire. Your chains lose their grip. Your timelines recalibrate. Why? Because my word is not passive, it's propulsive. When I pause heaven to speak, I don't just come with comfort. I come with command. I didn't just hold back angels so you could feel special. I did it because what I'm speaking now is something no angel was authorized to declare. It had to come from my own breath. I've held it in for this exact breath, this specific heartbeat, this sacred second. And I release it now like rain on droughted land, like a sword into tangled confusion, like oil into cracked places of the heart. You feel the shift. That's because I'm not just speaking to you. I'm speaking through you. This moment will mark your memory. You'll look back and say, that was when everything changed. Not because the world noticed, but because heaven did. Because I did. I want you to hear this not as a poetic comfort, but as divine revelation. You have not wasted 1 second. Every hour you waited, while wondering if anything was shifting, was marked in heaven with divine purpose. You thought you were stuck in silence, but what looked like stillness was actually strategy. What felt like delay was divine design. I've been orchestrating something sacred in secret, aligning every detail with heaven's calendar, not man's clock. You see only hours ticking by, but I see roots growing deep, foundations being poured, and a miracle maturing. I am not random. I do not forget. I do not miss appointments. And what I've been building for you could not afford to be rushed. I needed time to sculpt the invisible before releasing what would be seen. Let me say it more clearly. You weren't just waiting. You were being aligned. There were moments you thought were empty, but they were echoing with my breath. You assumed you were forgotten, but I was forging strength in your spirit you didn't even know you needed. I couldn't bring you here too soon, because what I'm about to place in your hands requires a level of surrender and steadiness that only this wilderness season could grow. Yes, I watched you. I watched you sit in the quiet and still choose me. I saw how you didn't rush past the pain, how you let your heart break open instead of growing cold. And every time you stayed faithful in the fog, heaven took note. Your name has been whispered through the halls of eternity. Angels marked your resilience. And now, child, that countdown you didn't even know was happening, it has reached its final second. This is the moment. The word you've longed for is no longer in waiting. It has arrived, wrapped in revelation and dripping with resurrection. This is more than comfort, it's confirmation. You needed to know that the pain wasn't pointless. And I needed to tell you that not only was it not wasted, it was weighty. It counted in the spirit realm. Your sighs weren't overlooked. Your tears weren't evaporated. They were collected, stored, poured into the oil that now drips from this word into the deepest parts of your soul. I didn't allow the silence to torment you. I allowed it to train you. And now, because you didn't walk away, because you didn't settle for noise when you were desperate for my voice, you are standing in the very hour that all of heaven has been counting down to. This is not a random moment. It's a holy milestone. The time has come. The word is here. The alignment is perfect. And the shift you've waited for has already begun beneath your feet. I know how loud the world has been around you. Voices pulling you in every direction. Opinions echoing like thunder. Advice wrapped in fear. Demands disguised as guidance. It has been noisy. So noisy, in fact, that you've wondered if I've gone quiet. You've asked, God, where are you in all of this? And here is my answer. I have been working in the stillness. I haven't been absent, I've been intentional. While the world screamed, I whispered. While the chaos tried to drown your peace, I dropped seeds of clarity into the soil of your surrender. I've been planting answers deep beneath the surface where noise can't reach, where confusion can't uproot, and where distractions can't trample. I've hidden understanding in the secret places of your soul, where only stillness gives access. You see, my child, clarity doesn't grow in chaos. It blooms in quiet. But quiet doesn't always feel comfortable. Sometimes it feels like abandonment. Sometimes it feels like invisibility. But hear me now. I've never been more present than when the world made you feel most alone. The confusion that wrapped itself around your decisions like fog was not stronger than my word. It was simply louder. And I needed to let the fog come, not to confuse you, but to draw you inward. I didn't want you following voices that knew your name but not your calling. I needed to strip away the counterfeit so you could finally recognize the real. And child, that real is me. That voice you've been longing to hear again. It's never left. It's just been waiting for the noise to fade. And now, because you have chosen to lean in despite the clamor, I am releasing clarity that cannot be shaken. Let me tell you something sacred. The next instruction for your life is not going to come in the form of volume. It will come in vision. You won't find it in louder prayers or frantic searching. You'll find it in presence, in a pause, in the holy hush where I begin to speak in sentences only your soul understands. The confusion is being peeled back, layer by layer. The lies that tried to masquerade as logic are falling apart. I'm exposing false peace and revealing the genuine. I'm clearing the fog not with a storm, but with a wind of truth. And that truth is this. I have been with you all along, speaking even when you couldn't decipher the message, working even when you couldn't see the movement, strategizing even when you felt still. The stillness you feared was me settling the soil so the seeds of revelation could finally take root. And now they are beginning to sprout. You're going to see what I planted in the dark begin to bloom in the light. Not all at once, but undeniably, steadily, beautifully. You'll wake up with peace you can't explain. Ideas that didn't come from your intellect. A sense of go in your spirit where fear used to live. That's not coincidence. That's me. That's clarity. That's heaven breaking through the noise with the quiet voice you were born to recognize. Oh child, let me lift the veil right now and speak to the part of you no one else sees. The hidden weight behind your words, the burden behind your bravery. I know what you've been carrying. I've watched you move through rooms, surrounded by people, yet feeling isolated in your pain. I saw you smile so they wouldn't worry. I saw you nod so they wouldn't ask. But I know the truth. Behind that carefully practiced composure is a soul crying for rest. Behind that faith-filled language is a heart growing weary of delay. And I want you to know, I'm not blind to any of it. Not a single tear has slipped through the cracks unnoticed. Not one sigh has gone unheard. I see the ache that sits just beneath your laughter. The tremble you hide beneath your strength. You've worn the robe of endurance for so long, but beloved, you were never meant to carry this alone. Let me say it again with weight. I see the fatigue behind your faith. You've kept praying even when your prayers felt hollow. You kept showing up even when hope was leaking through the seams of your belief. And child, that didn't disqualify you, it qualified you. Because faith isn't proven in perfection. It's proven in persistence. And you persisted. You've prayed with cracked voices. You've worshipped through exhaustion. You've clung to promises with trembling hands. And heaven, we took note. The angels who surround you whispered your name in reverence, not because you were flawless, but because you were faithful. They watched you kneel in the silence, waiting for me to speak, and they recorded every moment of loyalty that was forged in the dark. I never once turned away. I never once judged your questions. In fact, it was your questions that drew me closer, not further. I've come near to your weakness, not to expose it, but to exchange it. You've heard the world say, stay strong. But I'm saying, stay close. Because I'm not asking for your strength, I'm offering you mine. You don't need to hold it all together. You don't need to keep wearing the armor of performance when all I want is the truth of your tiredness. Your ache is safe here. Your tears are treasured here. Your collapse is not the end. It is the beginning of my complete takeover. Lay it down, child. Lay down the mental load you've been carrying at night when sleep refuses to come. Lay down the emotional weight that has followed you like a shadow. You've carried it long enough, and I'm telling you now with all the urgency of heaven, you're allowed to exhale. I'm not asking you to be okay. I'm asking you to be honest. Come undone in my arms. I will hold you. I will carry you. I will strengthen you. You don't have to carry the ache in secret anymore. The ache has reached my throne, and I have come with healing in my wings. I need you to feel the weight of this, not as comfort, but as confirmation. I have seen every unseen tear, the ones that slipped out while you stared at the ceiling in the midnight hours, the ones you wiped quickly before anyone could ask what was wrong, the ones you cried into your pillow when no one was watching, when you were too tired to explain and too weary to pretend. I saw them. Every single one. Heaven isn't blind to private pain. I record what others overlook. The pain you carried in silence, I cradled in my hands like sacred oil. You thought no one noticed your silent breakdowns, but I did. I was there in the room. Not on the other side of the universe, but beside you. Kneeling where you knelt, weeping when you wept, holding your heart when it was too fragile to beat with confidence. I didn't flinch when the tears fell. I leaned closer. And not just the tears. I saw your silent surrenders. Those quiet decisions to choose me over comfort. to obey when it cost you something no one else knew you paid. I saw the moment you deleted the number. I saw the night you turned off the screen and chose worship instead. I saw the apology you gave without receiving one in return. I saw you bless others while bleeding, smile while suffering, serve while stretching. You didn't do it for applause, and so I am rewarding it with favor no one else can claim credit for. Your obedience in obscurity has shaken realms. It's the kind of obedience that goes unnoticed on earth, but echoes through eternity. You didn't announce it, but I recorded it. You didn't publicize your sacrifice, but I prepared a public release because of it. Your private yes has now matured into a divine now. And I am the God who responds, not always immediately with evidence, but always intentionally with harvest. Hear me clearly, beloved. I never needed you to be loud. I just needed you to be loyal. And you were. Even when your voice was gone. Even when your strength was drained. Even when your prayers sounded more like whimpers. You stayed. And I took note. I recorded your faithfulness not in ink, but in glory. I inscribed your name in the scrolls of endurance. The kind of endurance that qualifies you for favor others will never understand. And now, because I saw what no one else saw, I will bless you in a way no one else can block. The doors I'm opening are not rewards for performance. They are access points of grace for the surrendered. So yes, your tears were seen. Your surrenders were sacred. And now, I am weaving them into the storyline of your coming elevation. The page is turning, and the very chapters that made you cry will become the backdrop of the miracle that makes others wonder. This is personal. This is intimate. This is why you couldn't quit, because your surrender wasn't in vain. It was seed. And I am the Lord of the harvest. Child, hear me now with the fullness of your spirit. I am not a God who demands perfection. I did not call you to wear the mask of flawlessness. I did not set up some impossible ladder for you to climb, hoping you'd impress me. No. I came as I always do, to meet you where you are, not where the world says you should be. I've seen the way shame tries to hide behind your striving. I've watched you punish yourself for being tired, for stumbling, for not having it all together. But I am not looking for performance. I am looking for presence. I want your honesty, not your highlight reel. I want the rawness, the reality, the broken pieces you thought disqualified you from breakthrough. Beloved, those are the very pieces I came to bless. The places you've hidden, those are the spaces I am coming to inhabit. This breakthrough is not generic. It is not mass-produced. It has been tailored to the fingerprint of your journey. It carries the contours of your pain, the shape of your sacrifice, the texture of your tears. You see, I've designed this moment not to reward perfection, but to recognize endurance. I didn't wait for you to get it all right. I waited for you to become real enough to receive what is completely right for you. You've been trying to fit into everyone else's idea of next. But child, I've carved out a promise that fits only you. I know what you've been through. I know how your trust was stretched, how your hope was hijacked, how your faith was forged in fire. And so, what I'm giving you now won't look like someone else's testimony. It won't follow the script you thought you needed. It will feel foreign to the world, but familiar to your soul. Because I've woven your process into the very DNA of this breakthrough. I've included every detour, every disappointment, every delay. What you thought disqualified you, I've used as the very reason you're qualified. This isn't a cookie-cutter blessing. It is crafted in glory, and you're the only one it's designed to fit. I need you to know, beloved, deeply, fully, without hesitation, that my love has never been conditional on your perfection. I saw every misstep and stayed. I watched every collapse and still called you. You thought you had to fix yourself to be found. But I found you in the middle of the mess. And this breakthrough, it doesn't come after you've proven your worth. It comes because I already declared it. You are worthy, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. Mine. And because you are mine, I have brought you into this moment. Not to evaluate you, but to elevate you. Not to test your perfection, but to transfer your inheritance. Your hands may be trembling, but they are open, and that is all I require. So come, child. Let go of the pressure to be flawless. Let go of the lie that says you're behind. You are right on time for a promise that was shaped by your story. This is the breakthrough that bears your fingerprint, because it was born from my hands, and they've been holding you all along. You waited long, and I waited with you. Now, as the river of my word begins to overflow, I'm calling you to help send the same living water to others still waiting. My child, every seed you sow into this ministry becomes oil in someone else's empty jar. This is not just generosity, it's warfare against darkness. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed, and I declare over you today, your giving will unlock harvests you didn't even know were buried. If your heart is burning to help carry this word farther, then know, it's me stirring you. Partner with me through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and watch what I do with your obedience. Don't delay, move now, because someone else's resurrection is waiting on your yes. This moment is not ordinary. This isn't a passing encouragement or a pretty sentence wrapped in spiritual language. No, this is a divine appointment, and it has been written into the timeline of your life since before you took your first breath. This message is not just information, it is activation. It is movement. It is the breath of heaven pushing you from stagnation into supernatural acceleration. You've been standing at the edge of a shift, feeling the tremble in your spirit, sensing that something was near but not yet revealed. And now, I am declaring it openly. This is that moment. The veil has lifted. The silence has broken. The appointed time has arrived. You didn't stumble into this message. You were summoned by it. You were drawn by the tug of eternity wrapped in words. You were pulled by prophecy's gravity into a moment where destiny speaks louder than doubt. You've asked me, God, is this just another encouragement? Another emotional lift that fades in a few days? And I say to you, no. This is a turning point. A line in the sand, shift in the spirit. Heaven wrote this on my calendar for you moment. This is not motivational fluff. This is movement encoded with divine weight. The kind that alters atmospheres and reorders timelines. The kind that angels recognize and hell cannot stop. You are not hearing this just to feel better. You are hearing this because something inside you is about to rise. Boldness is about to break out. Clarity is about to crystallize. Directions you thought were dead ends are about to burst open with supernatural flow. And it all begins, not when you try harder, but when you believe that this moment is marked by me. The shift isn't out there, child. The shift is here. In you. Around you. Through you. Let me pull back the curtain further. This message hath been echoing in the halls of heaven. It was scheduled, assigned, released at this exact moment because all things have now converged. I delayed other instructions. I waited until you could receive it not just with your mind, but with your spirit wide open. And you are here, not out of routine, not out of coincidence, but because eternity whispered your name, and you answered. And in answering, you've activated what I have hidden until now. This is a sacred ignition point. From this word forward, you will begin to notice things shifting quickly. You'll begin to discern new doors, fresh favor, divine flow. Not because the world got easier, but because you got aligned. You got in position. This message wasn't to inspire your emotions. It was to awaken your mantle, your mission, your movement. And now it begins. So breathe it in, child. Let it settle deep. This isn't hype. This is holy. This is a marker moment, a divine reminder that heaven is not just watching your life, but writing into it. And this sentence, this scroll, this breath you're reading is the trigger, the spark, the signal. You are being summoned forward, called into clarity, drawn into destiny. And no force, no failure, no delay, no demon can deny what I have decreed over you in this hour. This is your divine appointment, and I, your God, am never late. My precious one, lean in close. I need you to hear this with the weight it deserves. I didn't withhold the breakthrough to punish you. I didn't delay the promise to tease your heart or to test your strength to the brink. I held it back because I was doing more than answering your prayers. I was anchoring your identity. I could have opened the door months ago. I could have shifted the tide last year. But if I had given it then, you would have received it with trembling hands and uncertain vision. You would have questioned whether you truly deserved it, whether you were truly ready, whether you could really steward the magnitude of what I was placing into your life. And I love you too much to let you carry a blessing you weren't yet fortified to protect. So I did what only a loving father does. I slowed the release so I could increase your readiness. I allowed the pressure to shape you. I permitted the pause to deepen your roots. I watched you wrestle through seasons of silence, not because I was absent, but because I was active in the hidden places. I wasn't just forming the breakthrough. I was forming you. There were pieces of your identity that had to be awakened. You needed to discover strength that success couldn't teach. You needed discernment, not just desire. And so, I whispered when you wanted me to shout. I hid what you asked me to reveal. I let the timeline stretch longer than you prayed for, because I wasn't just planning for a moment. I was preparing you for longevity. You see, child, I am not interested in just giving you a miracle. I'm preparing you to live inside the miracle, and move in it, to steward it, to carry it with grace, maturity, and vision. If I gave it before its time, it would have collapsed under the weight of comparison. If I gave it while you were still clinging to the approval of others, you would have handed over your authority to those who never deserved access. So I waited. I waited until your identity wasn't built on applause. I waited until your yes didn't come from desperation, but from discernment. I waited until you stopped begging for rescue and started believing in resurrection. And now you are ready. Not perfect, not pressure-free, but ready. Because you no longer see the promise as the proof of your worth. You see it as the expression of my love. This breakthrough is not random. It's not late. It's right on time because you are finally ready to receive it without losing yourself in it. So let go of the guilt that says, I should have been further by now. Release the shame that whispers, I wasted too much time. None of it was wasted. None of it was in vain. Everything served the preparation. The slow days, the silent nights, the stretching seasons, they all poured into your becoming. And now, child, the heavens are leaning in. The weight of delay is giving way to the wind of divine release. What I've been holding has always been for you. And now, because your hands are steady and your heart is anchored, It's time to place it into your life. This is not just the end of a wait. It's the beginning of a walk into fullness, into purpose, into every promise I've been preparing, not just for you, but for the you that is now finally prepared. There's something you've misunderstood, something that's caused you to question my nearness. And I must clear it now, because it's time to break the agreement you made with the lie of my absence. You thought my silence meant I had gone quiet, that because you couldn't hear me in the ways you expected, I must have stopped speaking. But beloved, I never stopped speaking. I simply changed the frequency. I moved from the external to the internal, from the loud to the low, from the audible to the intimate. I began speaking not through thunder but through tension, not through words alone, but through weight. I began whispering inside the ache itself. I embedded my voice into the very questions that tormented you. I allowed the silence to become sacred space, not because I was hiding from you, but because I was trying to speak deeper than your ears could hear. I was speaking in the delay, in the days where nothing changed but everything within you shifted. I was speaking through restlessness, urging you to leave old mindsets behind. I was speaking in your frustration, showing you where false expectations had become your idols. And yes, I even spoke through your heartbreak, not to crush you, but to carve out new capacity in you. The silence was never empty, it was pregnant, full of instructions you didn't know how to translate yet, full of impartation that bypassed logic. I wasn't being cruel, I was being careful. Careful with your process, careful with your heart. I spoke through closed doors, through delayed answers, through dreams that didn't pan out. And while you searched for my voice in noise, I was speaking where no one else could interrupt, in the depths of you. Let me remind you now, child, I do not go silent as punishment. I go still as strategy. Because silence teaches you to listen differently. It purifies your ears from the distractions of performance. It forces your spirit to stop striving and start trusting. You learn things in the silence that sermons couldn't teach. You discern my nearness in the dark, not because I shouted, but because I stayed. I didn't leave when it got heavy. I leaned in closer. I wept beside you when the silence broke your heart. And even when you said, "Where are you?" I was right there, bottling your tears, speaking destiny into your confusion. And now, you're beginning to see it. You're realizing that even though I didn't speak in the way you wanted, I was speaking in the way you needed. So today, I'm lifting the veil. I'm revealing the layers. The silence was never rejection. It was refinement. It didn't mean I stopped loving you. It meant I was loving you too deeply to let noise drown out the lesson. And now, because you stayed, because you didn't run from the stillness, because you kept your heart open even when it felt hollow, I'm about to speak again. But this time it won't be hidden. This time it won't be subtle. It will be clear, sharp, undeniable. You will know it's me. You will recognize my voice not because it's louder, but because it now carries the weight of intimacy. You and I have walked through the silence together. And now, my child, we speak from it. We create from it. We rise from it. This is the sound of your stillness becoming revelation. This is the moment your ache turns into activation. And I am the one who never stopped speaking. I was just waiting for your spirit to quiet enough to hear me fully. The waiting has felt like a wilderness, hasn't it? Like an unending season of slow mornings and silent nights, where prayers echoed back with no reply and your footsteps seemed to circle the same ground. But I want you to hear me now. There was more happening in the wait than you ever imagined. Waiting is not wasted space. It is holy ground. It is the soil where I bury what is too precious to rush. and in the hidden layers of your delay, I buried something. Not a punishment, not rejection, but a seed, a sacred, weighty, heaven-offered seed. And while you were questioning the silence, while you were wondering if I forgot, something holy was growing underneath the ache. Something is now ready to rise. You thought nothing was happening because you couldn't see results. But I'm the God who moves first beneath the surface. I wasn't ignoring your prayers. I was answering them underground. Quietly, patiently, intentionally. There were parts of your spirit I needed to strengthen before I let this rise come forward. You prayed for elevation, but elevation without endurance will only crush you. So I planted something deeper than your dreams. I planted resilience. I buried vision inside of sorrow. I planted discernment in disappointment. I sowed peace into your nights of panic, and I covered it all with my hand. Because what I bury, I also resurrect. What I protect in the dark, I reveal in the light. And now, child, the ground is shifting. The soil is stirring. The holy thing I hid is pushing upward. The breakthrough is not just coming from heaven. It's emerging from within you. Let me speak this plainly, with the urgency of divine timing. What was buried in the waiting is now being revealed in the becoming. You are stepping into a season of manifestation. Not because you forced it, not because you rushed it, but because you were faithful to water the invisible. And now, the invisible is turning visible. What I buried in you is not just for you. It carries power for others. It will break chains you didn't even know you were called to confront. The gift, the anointing, the clarity, the mantle. It's been growing beneath the pressure, and it's ready to be born. And when it rises, it won't come small. It will come sure, steady, recognizable. It will carry the weight of the weight. And those who watched you suffer will now witness you stand. Not because you forced the fruit, but because you embraced the fallow ground. Because you let me plant something eternal inside your very human journey. So don't fear the cracks in your timeline. Don't curse the slow days. That ground, you're waiting, is about to erupt with divine release. You didn't lose time. You were hosting something sacred. And I, your father, buried it not to hide it from you, but to hide it for you, until the time was right. And beloved, now is that time. Come closer, child. There is something you must know. I never forgot you. Not for one moment. Not for 1 second. Not during the nights when you thought I had left you alone. Not during the seasons when the heavens felt like brass and every door slammed shut. Not in the quiet of your confusion or the heaviness of your heartbreak. I have been there, tracing every step with intention. You looked at your life and called it wandering, but I saw it as weaving. You saw gaps, I saw grace. You saw silence, I saw strategy. I have been mapping your path, even in the dark. Especially in the dark. You must understand, beloved, that my nearness is not always loud. Sometimes I cloak myself in quiet so you learn to walk by faith, not just by feelings. You were looking for fireworks, but I was walking beside you in the flicker of a single candle. You wanted me to roar, but I chose instead to whisper in ways that stretched your hearing. But never, not even once, did I forget. Your name has been etched into my hands. Your prayers have been recorded in my breath. I tracked your every tear, not to observe them, but to answer them in fullness of time. You have never walked unnoticed. You have never wandered without my covering. You have never cried alone. Even in the detours, I was directing. Even in the delays, I was designing. Your steps have not been wasted. They've been woven, intertwined with heaven's intention. You thought you were circling the same mountain, but what I saw was growth, refinement, strength for me in silence. You did see the markers I left on the path, but they were there, divine breadcrumbs hidden in your obedience. And now, I'm shining light on the trail you thought led nowhere. I'm showing you how every step was sacred. Every turn was tied to transformation. Every not yet was actually a not like this. I wasn't withholding goodness, I was protecting you from premature outcomes. I was saving you for better. So hear me clearly. You have not been overlooked. You've been overseen, watched over, guarded, guided. I never turned my face from you, even when you doubted me, even when you felt numb, even when your worship turned into weeping. I remained. I hovered. I preserved you. And now, I'm revealing what you couldn't see before. You weren't lost, you were led. You weren't delayed, you were divinely timed. And all of heaven has known this moment would come. This is the unveiling, the convergence of your questions and my answers. You were never forgotten. You were being written into destiny. And child, the pen never left my hand. Child, I see you. I see how hard you've tried to keep it all together. The pressure to be unshaken. The tension of pretending everything is fine while your soul is unraveling quietly behind closed doors. You've been applauded for your strength, admired for your composure. But I see through the armor. I see the trembling. I see the places where you've patched your heart with grit and called it faith. And today I need to tell you something that will disarm you completely. You don't have to hold yourself up anymore. You don't have to be the hero of your own survival. You've been trying to stand strong, but I've been waiting for the moment you would finally let go. I'd have fallen into numbness, but it fall into me. Let me be clear. Strength is not the absence of collapse. It's the willingness to fall into greater hands. And mine are ready. They've been ready. I haven't been watching you struggle from afar. I've been kneeling beside you, arms outstretched, whispering, "Let me carry you." But you've believed the lie that surrender means weakness, that letting go means giving up. But in my kingdom, it's the opposite. Letting go is the highest form of trust. It is where your striving ends and my sovereignty begins. You're not built to carry the weight of the world, child. That job is mine, and I carry it with joy because I carry you. The moment you release the pressure to perform, to prove, to be everything for everyone, I will flood your soul with the kind of peace you've only dreamed about. You've been carrying things I never asked you to, expectations that were never yours to fulfill, responsibilities that were born out of fear, not faith. And now I am calling you to release, not out of failure, but out of intimacy. I want to carry the parts of you that are too tender to name. I want to cradle the pieces you hide. Let the tears come. They are holy. Let the breath leave your lungs. It is safe here. Collapse is not the end. It is the beginning of being carried. I don't just lift burdens. I lift people. You are not a task to me. You are treasure. And what you let go of, I pick up. What you drop in surrender, I lift in power. What you lay down, I transform. So rest now. You've done more than enough. And not because your work is over, but because your role has shifted. You are no longer the one holding everything together. I am. And I am not tired. I am not unsure. I am not weak. I am the God who lifts universes with a word. And today, I use that same power to lift you. Come into my arms. Stop trying to survive through self-strength. Let the walls fall. Let the mask break. Let go, child. I will carry you through this and into the next. Yes, I see you. I see how deeply you've been longing for relief. Relief from the battle. Relief from the questions. Relief from the ache of not knowing when or how this chapter will shift. And child, I tell you this with the full fire of my love. I am bringing you more than relief. I am bringing recovery. I am restoring what was taken. I am healing what was hidden. I am redefining what you thought was broken beyond repair. Relief comes to ease the moment, but recovery comes to rebuild the future. And that's what I'm doing now. Not just soothing your wounds, but sewing a new garment of glory where the ashes used to sit. You've been surviving for so long that you forgot what thriving feels like. You've adjusted your prayers to sound safer. You've asked me only to get you through, when I've been planning to lift you higher. But today, I am tearing off that survival mindset. I am renewing your mind, child, not to just believe for a better week, but to believe for a better world. One where your pain doesn't define you. One where your trauma isn't the narrator of your story. One where I am writing the chapters, not erasing what happened, but redeeming every single word. I don't waste wounds. I resurrect them. And from this moment forward, I am taking what hurt you and transforming it into what will heal others through you. This is a season of redefinition. Not because you were broken, but because you have outgrown the labels placed on you in your brokenness. You're not just the one who was betrayed. You're the one being anointed to break cycles of betrayal in others. You're not just the one who lost time. You're the one I'm now accelerating beyond what time could have ever given you. You're not just the wounded one. You are becoming the warrior who knows where the healing lives. I am writing how you see yourself, how you see your calling, how you walk into rooms. You will not enter as a victim. You will enter as one who carries the scent of resurrection. You will not speak from pain alone, but from power birthed through the pain. So yes, I am bringing relief, but I'm also bringing something far more eternal. I am releasing you into recovery, into the rebuilding of your joy, the recovery of your laughter, the recovery of relationships, of creativity, of being, of rest. And above all, I am bringing you into redefinition, a holy unveiling of who you've always been through my eyes. The world named you based on what you endured. I now name you based on what you carry. You carry me. And because you carry me, you carry everything you need, not just to recover, but to rise. And child, this rising, it begins now. I remember the moment your voice cracked through the stillness, your heart laid bare as you whispered, "Lord, please fix it." I heard you. I felt the tremble in your spirit as you clutched at pieces you couldn't hold together anymore. You wanted me to put it all back the way it was before the storm, before the loss, before the detour that shattered your plans. But child, what if I told you that I didn't come to merely glue the fragments together? What if I told you that I allowed the breaking not to destroy you, but to deliver you into revelation? Because there are some truths about me, some truths about you that only rise in the aftermath of what feels like ruin. You prayed for me to fix what fell apart, but I came to show you what was always buried beneath the surface, what needed to be unearthed. The breaking wasn't the end. It was the excavation. In the breaking, I broke through the surface of shallow strength and exposed the gold of who you really are. I pulled back the layers you had to wear to survive, the expectations, the labels, the striving, and I uncovered the sacred within. Yes, you heard. Yes, it looked like loss. But child, I never took from you what you needed. I only allowed what could no longer sustain you to fall away. I wasn't just answering your prayer, I was upgrading it. You asked for comfort. I gave you clarity. You asked for restoration. I gave you revelation. You asked for healing. I gave you a whole new identity. And now, in the silence that followed the shatter, I've been speaking. Not in loud declarations, but in depth. I've been whispering truth into the broken places. You are more than the wound. You are more than the failure. You are more than what you lost. I know it's hard to recognize this moment as holy, but it is. This is the moment where the cracked places begin to glow. The oil I've been pressing out of your process is about to overflow. Because I never waste pain. I never stand by idly while my children break. I kneel beside you. I breathe into the rubble. And then, I resurrect from it. Not what was, but what could only be born through it. You thought you were broken beyond repair. But I am not the God of repair. I am the God of resurrection. And what I am bringing forth from this will carry more glory than you ever imagined. So breathe, my child. Stop asking me to put things back. Begin to ask me to show you what's being born now. This is not the end. This is a rebirth. This is not punishment. This is purpose. The ground that cracked beneath you is the same ground where I am planting your greatest season. From the breaking comes the coming, and from the dust of your despair, I will raise a story so powerful that others will know it could only be authored by me. My beloved, the time has come. You stood before so many closed doors that you stopped knocking. You started to believe maybe it was safer not to hope, safer to stay still than to risk being disappointed again. I've seen how you've adjusted your dreams downward just to avoid pain. But child, I never called you to live beneath your calling. And now, hear me clearly. The doors I'm about to open are not random. They are revelatory. These doors will not just provide, they will prophesy. I will reveal you, affirm you, and aim you. You won't walk through them timidly. You'll walk through them and see yourself more clearly than you ever have before. These aren't just doors of opportunity, they're doors of identity. When you step into them, something will awaken in your spirit. A divine recognition. A sense of this is where I was always meant to be. I'm not just bringing increase, I'm bringing alignment. The places I'm opening for you will confirm what I've whispered in secret. They will match the shape of your soul. No more squeezing into spaces that don't fit. No more shrinking to survive. No more saying yes to things that drain you just because you're afraid of being overlooked. The season of mislabeling is over. I am placing you in rooms that will not confuse your worth. They will confirm it. They will see what I've always seen, and they will draw it forth. And child, don't worry about how it will happen. Don't worry about who supports you or who understands. I've already assigned the right eyes to recognize you, the right voices to speak your name, the right platforms to honor your authenticity. You don't have to beg for a place anymore. I've built one for you. The doors I'm opening were constructed with your fingerprints in mind. And when they swing wide, the weight of your history will not disqualify you. It will qualify you. Every delay, every tear, every time you felt invisible, it was all building something inside you that now matches the magnitude of what I'm releasing outside of you. So prepare to be seen. Not for attention, but for assignment. These open doors will not elevate your ego. They will confirm your calling. You are not just walking into favor. You are walking into fulfillment. I am revealing you, releasing you, restoring everything the enemy tried to bury. And as you walk through what I've prepared, you will finally say, This is who I am. This is what I was made for. And I will smile, and I will say, Yes, my child. And I've been waiting 2 hours or more to tell you this. I want you to pause with me here, right in this moment. You've walked through seasons that felt like fire. You felt the flame on every side. Loss, confusion, rejection, disappointment. And sometimes, your own faith felt like it was burning dry. But hear me when I say, you are not marked by the fire. You are marked by the fragrance I left behind. It is the unmistakable aroma of my presence, my gold, my glory resting upon you. When you come out of the fire often takes the surface but leaves behind a fragrance. And that fragrance is the sign of miracle. It is my handiwork passing through your pain to leave something unforgettable, eternal. I know the heat was intense. I know it felt like nothing could survive it, let alone flourish. But deeper than the molten trials was my purpose. I entered with you. I watched the poison of your doubt turn into perfume of your praise. I watched where you thought you'd be crushed. I crafted a vessel of testimony. You might question, did you leave me bitter? But look again. That fragrance, no amount of rain will wash it away. It is your story of survival becoming your song of deliverance. And I carried you, even when you didn't feel my hands, because fragrance isn't felt. It is born. It drifts. It lingers. It testifies. You carry the fragrance of something greater than what hurt you. Let me speak this deep into your bones. The fire you walked through was not to consume you, but to consecrate you. You were refined, pressed, whittled, and what remained was not what was scalded away, it was what endured. That fragrance you sense now, that residue of peace, of faith, of gentleness, it's my signature on your life. Heaven breathes it when you walk into rooms where rumor says you're weak, only to leave people saying, there is something different about her. You walks in peace I can't explain. That is not the absence of fire, but the presence of a God who carried you through it. And the fragrance is proof, not of what broke you, but of what became beauty through the brokenness. So inhale, child. Inhale the mercy. Inhale the moment. You are not just surviving a story, you are broadcasting resurrection. The fragrance is not just proof you endured, it's the herald of what's being birthed. People will follow you, not because you avoided the fire, but because you came out carrying the unmistakable scent of heaven. And that, beloved, is the miracle. You and I walked through it together. Now everyone in your path gets a glimpse of what heaven looks like, smells like, when it dismantles death and raises you to testify. The fragrance of victory is on you now, and it's time to pass it forward. What you've just received is more than a personal word. It's a divine weapon, and there are others still in the fire who need this message to find them. My child, when you give, you're not just donating, you are planting spiritual firewood that will warm frozen hearts and awaken buried destinies. My word shall not return void, and every act of support extends its reach like holy wildfire. I am the one who placed this channel before you, and now I invite you, help me take it farther. Your seed becomes the chariot that carries my voice to the one still silent. Use the super thanks, membership, or PayPal link in the description, and do it now, because what you've heard must travel. Beloved, the promises I have placed before you are not meant to be gathered like trophies. They are meant to be lived out with holy boldness. I marvel at how well you have received my words so far. You've allowed my voice to enter your soul and shift your atmosphere. But what comes next is not passive, it is power. Not contentment, it is courage. I am not simply giving you a place at the table. I am calling you to reign where you have been. This isn't about finally getting what heaven promised. It's about holding the ground of that promise under the weight of opposition until every echo of shame, disappointment, limitation fades. You were born not just to receive. You were born to radiate. Let me say it plainly. The invitation ahead is not for those who are comfortable. It is for those who are consecrated. It's for those who will guard the promise not with jealousy, but with integrity, with faith, with unstoppable faithfulness. The enemy will still speak, but what about your past? What about the scars? You will try to reawaken the echoes. But I am equipping you now with a voice of valor, a voice that silences accusation, a voice that clarifies calling, a voice that rises above regret. When you walk out this promise, it will be with the fullness of me saying that is who I created you to be. Not just rescued, but radiant. Not just delivered, but deliberate. I am empowering you to walk where there is no path yet, to tread where sheep haven't learned to graze yet. This step is not about ease. It is about endurance that turns into empire. The past will try to whisper, "You don't belong." Let me give you ears to hear my roar. You belong more than ever, child. You are mine to magnify. You are mine to lift. Every time shame tries to shadow you, you will walk through it with a boldness that recalls my glory more than your history. You are not just fulfilling prophecy. You are forging the defining footprint of a generation. You will minister not just comfort, but courage. Not just healing, but hope. So stand up, beloved. Gather the garment of boldness I drape upon you. Step forward, not timidly, but triumphantly. This is your appointment to anointed authority. Not because of who you were, but because of who you are becoming through me. The promise isn't finished until you finish walking it out with holy, unshakable boldness. And I have never been more confident in your destiny than I am now. To go and take everything I've whispered into your spirit and manifest it in the world. My precious child, come closer still, because I need to tell you something that will shift how you see every dark season, every unanswered prayer, every hour of silence that wrapped itself around your faith like a fog. You've mistaken my stillness for absence. You've looked at the empty space and thought, maybe God forgot. But I tell you, with fire in my voice and tenderness in my touch, those are the very places I am choosing to rewrite as proof of my nearness. Yes, even there, even in the cold, even in the confusion, even in the valleys where your tears became your only language, I was not just watching you. I was moving inside you. You didn't recognize it because I didn't come the way you expected. I didn't come with thunder or lightning or fireworks. I came as a holy whisper buried in the ache. I came as endurance when you wanted escape. I came as hidden strength when all you prayed for was a rescue. Child, what you thought was abandonment was actually incubation. I was pulling you into a deeper kind of trust. One that's not based on feelings, but rooted in faith matured by fire. You thought I was distant when I was actually invested. You cried out for a sign, and I gave you silence, not to confuse you, but to call you inward, where my spirit was speaking with words too holy for human language. I want you to look again at those painful places. Look again at the moments that felt like divine betrayal. The times you said, "Where are you?" Beloved, I was closer than your breath. And now, I am rewriting those memories. I am breathing over them with truth. I am reframing your vision so that what once looked like loss now becomes a living altar of revelation. The same nights that nearly broke you will become the testimony that builds others. And when you tell the story, and you will tell it, it will no longer carry the sound of sorrow. It will carry the sound of victory wrapped in mystery. You'll be able to say, "This is the place I thought he was far, but it's where he marked me forever." So, beloved, stop running from the memories. Invite me into them. Let me reclaim what fear tried to define. You are not the sum of your weakest moments. You are the result of my relentless love that showed up especially in your lowest ones. You will begin to see it now, the fingerprints of heaven in the details of your despair. And you'll know, I never left. I was just rewriting the script so that every chapter declares not your failure, but my faithfulness. Listen to me, my child. You haven't missed it. Not the window. Not the calling. Not the promise. I know there have been seasons where you felt like time slipped through your fingers like water, where regret threatened to suffocate hope, where the enemy whispered lies that told you were too late. But I come now to break those lies off of you with the hammer of truth. What I've prepared for you is still set, still sealed, still timed to perfection, not delayed by your detours, not canceled by your mistakes, not reduced by your fear. Because I am not a God who writes promises in pencil, I write them in blood. Every assignment I have for you is written into the eternal script of your life. And I don't operate by your clock, I operate by divine sequence. There are things you thought you should have accomplished by now, relationships you thought you should have mended, doors you thought you missed. But I want you to understand this deeply. You are right on schedule for my plan, even if you feel behind in your own. Heaven doesn't measure timing by productivity, it measures it by readiness. And child, sometimes I delayed not because you were unworthy, but because you were being made ready. And now you are closer than ever to the convergence point. You see, I've been holding it, holding the doors, holding the favor, holding the opportunities, not teasing you, but timing them. Because I didn't want you to receive something that would overwhelm you. I wanted you to recognize it as yours. And it is yours. Still yours. Every piece of the promise. Every drop of the inheritance. Heaven has not revoked what I wrote over your life. And not one enemy, not one missed opportunity, not one broken decision can overrule my decree. What's sealed in heaven cannot be unsealed by man. And what's appointed for your life will find you, because it was made only for you. So breathe. Release the panic. Stop punishing yourself for what you think you missed. I have written your journey in layers of mercy and moments of precision. What looks delayed is actually protected. What feels denied is actually preserved. And when I say, now is the time, you will walk into what I've been crafting behind the curtain. You haven't missed it, child. You've been prepared for it. And what's coming next will not just affirm your purpose, it will redeem your timeline. My precious one, let me speak with loving boldness into the deepest part of your soul. Even when you couldn't see the end, you walked by faith. You carried a mustard seed in your spirit when the storms looked like they would drown you. You laid one trembling step in front of the other, tired and unsure, weary, but determined because of me. That very faith, so quiet, so small, so misunderstood, is the seed of the victory you are now arriving into. It wasn't wasted. It wasn't naive. It was nurtured. You didn't need to see the end to walk into what was already being formed ahead of you. Your trusting step, repeated again and again, became the very pathway heaven aligned for your triumph. I saw every moment you whispered, I believe, even when your heart was screaming, I fear. I recorded every time you leaned into me instead of running away. Each quiet act of faith, continued in the tears, in the late-night prayers, in the promise you refused to let go of, became building blocks in the unseen realm. You were constructing the altar of your breakthrough in moments no one else witnessed. And now, because you walked on, even when you stumbled, that altar is lit. The victory is not being delivered. It is descending. Not just upon you, but through you. Let me say this. Your faith was never small. It was sacred. It was the spark heaven needed to ignite the roar of what is coming. The enemy tried to minimize it, scare you, overwhelm you with circumstances that looked too big. But you stood when you could have fallen. You whispered when the world screamed. You chose surrender over shutdown. And that moment-by-moment refusal to quit is what broke the ground. That is what birthed this season. So breathe deeply and receive, not just a victory, but the manifestation of your faith. Your next step is not into hope. It is into harvest. You believed through the darkness, and now you walk into the dawn you helped bring forth. Hallelujah, child. This is the fruit of your faith. Beloved, the way you've responded in secret, when no one else noticed, when no one else applauded, that is what has captured my heart. I have been watching how you behave in your hidden places, how you choose truth when it costs you convenience, how you stay soft when the world speaks hard, how you still show up, even though no mirror is raised. That, child, has qualified you to carry more than you ever knew you could. Not because of greatness you've announced, but because of glory you've quietly held. I didn't need to see the public display to know the condition of your heart. I stealthily observed your hidden faithfulness, and it broke heaven's secret codes, unlocking what no eye can see. I saw when you turned the other cheek while bleeding inside. I heard how you prayed for those who oppose you. I watched lovingly when you served in the shadows. Even when the enemy tried to reduce your significance, say you were too small, too late, too flawed, you didn't shrink. You stayed, and that perseverance didn't go unnoticed. I am entrusting you now with what only those who respond rightly in obscurity can steward. You are being elevated, not because you begged or boasted, but because you believe. You carried hidden burdens with humility, and now I am handing you hidden anointings with authority. Let me make this clear. You are being promoted through integrity, not by performance. You don't need to perform now. You need to be the person I've already formed in the mystery. The doors I'm opening are for the one who didn't need limelight to stay loyal. You will carry more, not because you fight harder, but because you love deeper, because your heart aligned with mine in the silent places. Now you step into amplification. You carry voice where there was once silence. You carry capacity where there was once brokenness. You carry purpose where there was once pain. That is the power of hidden faithfulness, and I choose to release it now through you. You have questioned the timing. You've asked me in your silent hours, why not yet? Why hasn't it happened for me like it has for them? You've looked at others who seemed to be moving forward, getting the promotion, the breakthrough, the spotlight, and wondered if perhaps you did something wrong. But I am coming to set the record straight with clarity and conviction. You were not delayed. You were protected. There were doors that opened for others that looked like gain, but they carried weights not meant for your shoulders. I saw the hidden burdens behind those so-called blessings. I saw the spiritual cost, the distractions, the compromises, the toll on peace and identity. And in my mercy, I withheld what you were never meant to carry. You didn't know what I saw. You didn't see the conversation behind closed doors, the spiritual atmospheres that would have drained you, the people who would have misused your favor. But I saw you all. And so I kept you where it felt still, not to frustrate you, but to fortify you. You weren't being left behind, you were being preserved. Because what I have prepared for you will not break you once it arrives. It will build you. The doors I open are not just shiny, they are safe. They are saturated in my presence. They don't require you to sacrifice your peace for progress or your identity for opportunity. The waiting didn't mean you were denied. It meant you were being hidden on purpose. Let me say this plainly. Your no's were holy. Your delays were deliverances in disguise. Your blocked opportunities were blessings with blindfolds. If you had walked through those doors, you would have settled for something smaller, something lesser. But I love you too much to let you compromise with a counterfeit when I have an authentic and abundant inheritance waiting for you. What I'm about to open for you, when I say it's time, will not just meet your needs. It will mirror your design. It will fit. It will flow. It will feel like home. Because it was crafted in the counsel of heaven for the you that has been refined in the fire. So release the resentment. Breathe out the bitterness. Your season was not wasted. It was protected. And the next time you wonder why it took so long, I want you to remember this truth. God was protecting me from what looked good but wasn't God. And now I bring the real thing. Wait for it no longer with anxiety. Wait for it with expectation, because your spirit will know. This door isn't just open, it's ordained. My beloved, you've prayed, Lord, confirm it again. Speak it again. Make it clear. And I have answered. I have confirmed. I have whispered, echoed, and even thundered the truth of your calling, the truth of my plans over your life. But now, child, hear this with urgency. I am shifting you from confirmation to activation. What's coming next will not be preceded by another sign. It will be preceded by your step. This is not about waiting for another yes from heaven. It's about moving because I've already spoken. You're not in a testing phase anymore. You're in a launching phase. And your faith will not grow stronger in stillness. It will stretch in the movement. The next level of what I have for you will demand action. Not rushed, flesh-driven decisions, but spirit-led obedience. You don't need another prophecy to do what I've already burned into your bones. You don't need another if this happens, then I'll go. You already carry the fire of my yes. The miracles you're asking for are on the other side of motion. You won't feel fully ready, but you will be fully resourced by me once you begin. Remember this. I don't fund fantasies. I fund faith. I release provision in the direction of movement born in obedience. So move. Start. Build. Write. Speak. Plan. Love. You've been staring at the closed gate, wondering if it will open, but the gate is waiting for your footstep. Like the priests who carried the ark to the edge of the Jordan, I didn't part the waters first. I waited until their feet touched the floodwaters. Then the current broke, and a way made itself known. And that's what I'm doing with you. You've asked me for supernatural encounters. But what if I told you the most supernatural moment of this season will be you taking the first step in a direction that requires pure trust? You've graduated from confirmation. Now you step into activation. Let me leave this with you, child. The time for asking is turning into the time for advancing. Heaven's echo has already affirmed what you carry. Now, Earth is waiting for your movement. Angels are already in motion to align the moments ahead of you. Don't hesitate. Don't overthink. Don't replay the fear. Move. The blessing is in the doing. The oil flows when the vessel is tipped. The wind lifts when the sail is raised. And my power rushes in when faith steps forward. You heard me. Now walk with me. I've already gone before you. My beloved, I sat with you in the morning. I watched every tear. I measured every sigh. I counted the days where your soul seemed suspended between what was and what might never be again. You didn't just lose people. You lost parts of yourself. Dreams that felt abandoned. Seasons that felt stolen. Joy that once danced freely now felt distant, locked away in a version of you that no longer existed. You didn't mourn just one thing. You mourned many, sometimes all at once. And I honored every ounce of your grief. I wept with you. I wrapped myself around the places where language failed you. But now, child, I come with divine instruction. It's time for resurrection. What was buried must rise. This is not a moment of forgetting. This is a moment of releasing. The grave you've been circling in your mind, the thing you thought would never breathe again, I have been standing beside it, whispering to what is beneath. Just like Lazarus, I've waited for the moment to call it forth, not a second too soon. You thought it was dead, but I was preserving it. You thought it was over, but I was preparing it. You thought it had expired, but I was extending it beyond what man's timeline could explain. I am the God who restores time, revives calling, and resurrects identity. The dream you buried in disappointment, the one you prayed for in silence and then tried to forget, I never forgot it. And now I breathe my spirit over it again. You not fear what comes alive now. Don't question its arrival just because it looks different than before. Resurrection rarely returns things in the exact form you lost them. It comes back with glory attached. What rises now will be stronger. What I bring forth from the ashes will carry weight, purpose, and prophetic evidence that I never leave what is mine to die in the dark. You will begin to feel it in your spirit. A stirring, a calling, a quickening. Don't suppress it. Don't explain it away. Embrace it. It is time. What was buried is hearing my voice. What was lost is being summoned. What you thought you'd never feel again, hope, joy, clarity, is now beginning to resurrect. To let the stone roll away. Let your heart rise with the wind of this word. Do not keep dressing graves when I'm calling you into gardens. Do not mourn what I'm about to multiply. The things you laid to rest, thinking it was the end, I've been guarding them like seed. And now, in the season I've appointed, I say to you, rise. Beloved, you've prayed in the now. You've cried for change in the moment. You've pleaded for relief in your present reality. And I've heard every word. But child, do you understand the magnitude of what I'm building through you? What I'm about to open isn't just a door for you. It's a legacy gate. What you're stepping into will echo through generations yet unborn. The obedience you've given me in secret is forming the blueprint of breakthrough for bloodlines you haven't even seen. You think you're just stepping into blessing, but you are actually stepping into a divine assignment of generational restoration. Your yes to me didn't just rewrite your chapter, it rerouted entire storylines. I am breaking cycles through your surrender. I am birthing clarity where confusion reigned. I am placing peace where anxiety was passed down like inheritance. This isn't just about you winning. This is about you becoming a womb for revival. Your prayers have been planting seeds in soil so ancient it cried out for deliverance. And now, I use your life, your lineage, to pour out what was withheld for too long. You are not merely receiving a blessing, you are becoming one. One that will outlive you. One that will be spoken of in hushed reverence generations from now, because she obeyed, because he believed we walk in freedom today. Let me say this with gravity and with grace. You are the interruption. You are the one I handpicked to end what should have continued. To break what the enemy thought was eternal. You were not born at this hour by coincidence. You were placed here strategically, intentionally, as a sent one. You are carrying the kind of obedience that dismantles demonic patterns, that shifts atmospheres over families, that silences generational shame with one shout of truth. And yes, it's heavy at times. Yes, you've paid a price. But what's about to open, what's about to flow will make every sacrifice sing. To look forward with holy awe. What I pour through you is not just favor. It's foundation. You are laying the groundwork for destinies you will never see with earthly eyes but will know fully in eternity. And I, your God, will say, "Well done, my child. You broke the curse. You birthed the future. And you did it all because you said yes when no one else would. Now walk forward, not just for you, but for the names I've already written into your legacy. My beloved, I sat with you in the morning. I watched every tear. I measured every sigh. I counted the days where your soul seemed suspended between what was and what might never be again. You didn't just lose people. You lost parts of yourself. Dreams that felt abandoned. Seasons that felt stolen. Joy that once danced freely now felt distant, locked away in a version of you that no longer existed. You didn't mourn just one thing. You mourned many, sometimes all at once. And I honored every ounce of your grief. I wept with you. I wrapped myself around the places where language failed you. But now, child, I come with divine instruction. It's time for resurrection. What was buried must rise. This is not a moment of forgetting. This is a moment of releasing. The grave you've been circling in your mind, the thing you thought would never breathe again. I have been standing beside it, whispering to what is beneath. Just like Lazarus, I've waited for the moment to call it forth, not a second too soon. You thought it was dead, but I was preserving it. You thought it was over, but I was preparing it. You thought it had expired, but I was extending it beyond what man's timeline could explain. I am the God who restores time, revives calling, and resurrects identity. The dream you buried in disappointment, the one you prayed for in silence and then tried to forget, I never forgot it. And now I breathe my spirit over it again. Do not fear what comes alive now. Don't question its arrival just because it looks different than before. Resurrection rarely returns things in the exact form you lost them. It comes back with glory attached. What rises now will be stronger. What I bring forth from the ashes will carry weight, purpose, and prophetic evidence that I never leave what is mine to die in the dark. You will begin to feel it in your spirit, a stirring, a calling, a quickening. Don't suppress it. Don't explain it away. Embrace it. It is time. What was buried is hearing my voice. What was lost is being summoned. What you thought you'd never feel again, hope, joy, clarity, is now beginning to resurrect. To let the stone roll away. Let your heart rise with the wind of this word. Do not keep dressing graves when I'm calling you into gardens. Do not mourn what I'm about to multiply. The things you laid to rest, thinking it with the end, I have been guarding them like seed. And now, in the season I've appointed, I say to you, rise. Beloved, you've prayed in the now. You've cried for change in the moment. You've pleaded for relief in your present reality. And I heard every word. But child, do you understand the magnitude of what I'm building through you? What I'm about to open isn't just a door for you. It's a legacy gate. What you're stepping into will echo through generations yet unborn. The obedience you've given me in secret is forming the blueprint of breakthrough for bloodlines you haven't even seen. You think you're just stepping into blessing, but you are actually stepping into a divine assignment of generational restoration. Your yes to me didn't just rewrite your chapter. It rerouted entire storylines. I am breaking cycles through your surrender. I am birthing clarity where confusion reigned. I am placing peace where anxiety was passed down like inheritance. This isn't just about you winning. This is about you becoming a womb for revival. Your prayers have been planting seeds in soil so ancient it cried out for deliverance. And now, I use your life, your lineage, to pour out what was withheld for too long. You are not merely receiving a blessing, you are becoming one that will outlive you, one that will be spoken of in hushed reverence generations from now, because you obeyed, because he believed. We walk in freedom today. Let me say this with gravity and with grace. You are the interruption. You are the one I handpicked to end what should have continued, to break what the enemy thought was eternal. You were not born at this hour by coincidence. You were placed here strategically, intentionally, as a sent one. You are carrying the kind of obedience that dismantles demonic patterns, that shifts atmospheres over families, that silences generational shame with one shout of truth. And yes, it's heavy at times. Yes, you've paid a price. But what's about to open, what's about to flow will make every sacrifice sing. So look forward with holy awe. What I pour through you is not just favor, it's foundation. You are laying the groundwork for destinies you will never see with earthly eyes but will know fully in eternity. And I, your God, will say, "Well done, my child. You broke the curse. You birthed the future. And you did it all because you said yes when no one else would. Now walk forward, not just for you, but for the names I've already written into your legacy. My cherished one, this is the moment. Let the weight of eternity settle on what I am about to declare. I have been waiting, not merely for 2 hours, but for this exact heartbeat, this divine intersection, this collision of your surrender and my promise. Not because I was impatient, but because I was intentional. I've leaned in across the corridors of time, waiting for the breath in your spirit, the acceleration in your prayer, the tremor in your soul that says, "Now, Father, now I am ready." That is the moment I have been waiting for, and now it has come. Hear me clearly. I am with you, not as a distant observer, not as an abstract concept, but as Emmanuel, the one who dwells with you. I have been threading my presence through every moment of your chaos. I have been breathing my peace into your torment. I have been standing over you when you felt most alone. And now, this is your invitation to rest in that forever assurance. I don't just come when you feel me. I are the deep place you feel, the still point in the storm, the pulse beneath your pulse. I with you. But that is not all. I am for you. I am not an invisible force that watches when things go right. I am your advocate, your defender, your ever-present champion. I've gone to hell. I've experienced hatred. I've seen betrayal, all on your behalf. I am standing now as your unwavering ally. What the enemy threw at you, I took. What confusion tried to drown you in, I lifted with clarity. And today, I stand, not just beside you, but for you, unleashing my favor, my provision, my clarity, my peace into every area that needs my voice. There is nothing you face that I'm not already advancing ahead of. Finally, and this is the crescendo of all that I have spoken, I am ready to release what no eye has seen, not because you demanded it, but because I am faithful to my word, and your moment has ripened into my orchestration. What you hoped for, prayed for, longed for, even dreamed for, it's about to manifest in ways unimaginable. This is not a repetition of what others have seen. It is a new, unplayed composition broadcast from heaven straight into your life. It carries your name. It is tailored to your DNA. It carries the fragrance of your pain and the shape of your calling. No eye has seen it yet, but eyes will see it. Reliquaries of revelation, demonstrations of divine favor, breakthroughs of impossible magnitude. They are about to be spoken, sung, delivered, and displayed for all to see. So rise now, beloved. Breathe this word into your spirit. You are not at the end. You are at the threshold. The 2 hours, the seasons of waiting, they were not delays. They were the countdown. And now the hour has come. I am not late. I am right on time. I am with you. I am for you. And I am releasing what no eye has seen, but many hearts will be awakened by. Walk into it. The word is not just spoken. It is sealed forever and released now. Amen and amen. This is the moment I waited 2 hours to deliver, not just to you, but through you. What was released in your spirit today is meant to ripple across generations, and you are the vessel I want to use. My child, when you give into this ministry, you aren't funding content. You are fueling a movement of resurrection, a global wave of prophecy, healing, and awakening. Give, and it shall be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. This is your Deuteronomy 1:11 moment, a 1,000-fold return on every act of obedience. If you felt stirred, that's not emotion, it's my invitation. The link is in the description. Use it now through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal. Don't wait, because what's been waiting isn't just for you, it's for the world through you. Before you scroll away, pause, because this is the moment I waited 2 hours to give you. Now I'm asking you to respond with boldness. Declare in the comments, I receive what's been waiting for me. Let every word be a prophetic agreement between your spirit and my promise. Don't stay silent when heaven is moving. Your voice is the key that activates what I've already released. Comment it now, because what's been waiting isn't just a word, it's your next chapter. And as you speak it, my child, come closer. Hush the world for just a moment and listen to me. I know you heard the title and a question formed in your heart, waiting for me. Where have you been? You feel a distance, a silence, and you wonder if I have been absent. Let me quiet that fear right now. I have not been waiting out of absence. I have been waiting in anticipation. I have been right here, watching you navigate the relentless pace of your day, that constant hum of pressure from your job, the unspoken tensions that linger in your home. I have been waiting for this exact moment, a moment of stillness where my voice would not have to compete. Your world is so loud, my beloved. It screams at you from a dozen different screens. The notifications on your phone, the weight of expectations from your boss, the silent demands of your family, they are all shouting for a piece of you, leaving you feeling stretched and worn thin. You carry a tension in your shoulders that doesn't belong to you. Pause now. You feel it. That knot of anxiety deep in your stomach that tightens with every new demand. That is not from me. That is the noise I have been waiting to silence. My voice is not one among the many that cry for your attention. It is the one that calms the many. It is the deep, quiet hum beneath the chaos, the steady anchor in your swirling sea of worries. I desired this moment, a sacred appointment between us, set before you even knew you would need it. I have waited to speak with you when your heart was not distracted by the world's urgent, yet temporary, demands. I know about the deadline that feels overwhelming. I see the difficult conversation you keep replaying in your mind. I understand the fear you have about the future, that persistent whisper asking, what if I fail? These things feel so large, so pressing, but their power is fleeting. I have waited to speak with you about what is eternal, what is true, what is unshakable. Let this truth sink deep into your soul. I am a God who seeks you more than you seek me. While you are busy striving, I am busy arranging moments like this, clearing a space in your life for you to hear me. You did not stumble upon this message by accident. I have been patiently and lovingly paving the way for it to find you, right here, right now. The world rushes you, my child. It tells you to hurry, to catch up, to do more, to be more. It offers no rest, only a finish line that always moves further away. But I am not like the world. I do not rush you, I wait for you. I wait because what I have to say is not a fleeting trend or a temporary fix. What I am offering you is life itself. It is a peace that cannot be bought and a strength that will not fail. This conversation is the foundation for everything else. This is why I have waited. So, breathe in my presence. Let the noise fade. Let the stillness settle. It is just you and me now. My child, before you begin your list, before you lay out all the reasons you feel you have fallen short, I want you to be silent. Do not speak. Just listen. You came into this moment ready to tell me about your failures, to confess your anxieties, but you must first understand who you are speaking to, and more importantly, who you are. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not defined by the sharp word you said yesterday, or by the opportunity you missed last week. You are not the echo of your parents' expectations, nor are you the reflection you see in the eyes of those who criticize you. And just as you are not the sum of your failures, you are not the height of your successes. The praise you received at your job, the moment you felt proud of an accomplishment, these things are not your identity either. They are temporary. They are fleeting. I want to build your life on something that will last. Let me remind you of the truth. You are my child. I knit you together in your mother's womb. I chose the color of your eyes. I designed the unique pattern of your fingerprint. You are fearfully and wonderfully made in my own image. Before anyone else had an opinion about you, I had a purpose for you. Your identity was not shaped by your performance. It was sealed, permanently, by the sacrifice of my son. Think about that. The world puts a price tag on everything. Your time, your skills, your worth. It tells you that you are valuable if you are productive, if you are successful, if you are approved of. But I tore that price tag to shreds at the cross. The price paid for you was not in gold or silver, but in the precious blood of my son. That is your value. It is infinite and unchanging. It does not go up when you succeed or down when you fail. It is constant because my love is constant. You are a carrier of my light in a world that has forgotten what the dawn looks like. You feel small and insignificant, but you carry the very presence of the Creator of the universe inside of you. You are more than a conqueror through Him who loves you. This means the battles you face, the battle with insecurity, with fear, with temptation, are not fought in your own strength. You fight from a position of victory that has already been secured for you. The outcome has been decided. And now I am teaching you how to walk in it. And you are never ever forgotten. The world is busy and people forget. You may feel overlooked by your boss, misunderstood by your family, invisible in a crowd. But I tell you, your name is written on the palm of my hand. It is not written in ink that can fade. It is engraved, a permanent mark that declares to all of heaven and hell, this one is mine. This is who you are. Do not let the lies of the world or the whispers of the enemy convince you otherwise. You are my beloved child, forever. Now, my beloved, look at the weight you are carrying on your shoulders. It is a heavy load, and it is slowing you down, stealing your joy. I see you struggling under it, and my heart aches because I never asked you to pick it up. Let's talk about these burdens, one by one, and lay them down at my feet. First, the weight of yesterday's guilt. You keep replaying your mistakes, don't you? That moment of failure, that decision you regret. Every time you remember it, you feel a fresh wave of shame. But my child, that burden was nailed to the cross 2,000 years ago. It is finished. When I forgive, I remove your sin as far as the east is from the west. Why do you keep walking back to the cross, not to thank me for your freedom, but to try and pull the nails out and carry that guilt again? Leave it there. It has been paid for. Walk away in freedom. And there is the anxiety for tomorrow. This is a heavy one. You lie awake at night, your mind racing with what ifs. What if you lose your job? What if your health fails? What if something happens to your family? You are trying to carry the weight of 1,000 possible tomorrows, all at once, today. But I did not design you for that. I give you strength for one day at a time, just as I gave my people manna for one day at a time. The anxiety you feel is the strain of trying to be your own God, to control a future that only I can hold. Give it to me. Your finances, your health, your family, place them in my hands. My hands are big enough to hold them. Yours are not. And what about that heavy cloak of approval you wear? It is woven with the threads of what will they think. You edit your words, hide your true feelings, and exhaust yourself performing, all in the hope of earning a little praise or avoiding criticism. Akeov. It is suffocating the real you, the person I created you to be. The performance of perfection is exhausting because it is a lie. I do not desire your flawlessness. I desire your heart. I want your authentic, messy, beautiful heart. You carry the phantom pains of wounds I have already healed, reliving hurts I have already redeemed. Let it go. I want to make a trade with you today. Jesus said, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Let me trade you your heavy yoke, the yoke of guilt, anxiety, and performance, for mine. The yoke I offer is one of grace, trust, and rest. It is a burden so light it feels like wings. Lay down what I never asked you to carry, and pick up the peace I have been waiting to give you. Now let us speak of the moments that test you the most. The quiet, the silence, the seasons when your prayers seem to hit the ceiling and fall back down, unanswered. You cry out, where are you? And the only reply is an echo. I know this place frightens you. You mistake my silence for my absence. You mistake my patience for my indifference. You must understand, my child, my silence is not a sign of my displeasure. Never believe that lie. My silence is an invitation to a deeper trust. A ship proves its worth not in the calm of the harbor, but on the vast, unpredictable sea. In the same way, your faith is proven and strengthened not when you can hear my voice constantly, but when you choose to trust me even when you cannot. Sometimes, I am silent because I am working in ways you cannot yet comprehend. A great work of art is not created with loud, constant clamor. There are moments of intense, focused quiet where the artist is making the most crucial strokes. In the same way, I am often doing my most profound work in your life during the quietest seasons. It is like a seed in the ground. On the surface, nothing seems to be happening. But beneath the soil, in the dark and the quiet, roots are growing deep, a foundation is being built, and life is preparing to burst forth. You feel abandoned, but I am actually building your future. In these silent moments, your spiritual ears are sharpened. When my voice is a constant thunder, you have no need to lean in. But when I am quiet, you learn to listen for my whisper. You learn to find me not just in the miraculous, but in the mundane, in the comfort of my word, in the kindness of a stranger, in the peace that settles on you for no logical reason. My silence is also a question of love. It asks, do you love me for who I am or only for what I say and do for you? Do you seek my hand or do you seek my face? Anyone can praise me when the blessings are flowing, but the one who sits with me in the quiet, trusting my heart even without hearing my voice, that is a love that moves all of heaven. Do not mistake my patience for inaction. I am not ignoring you. I am cultivating in you a faith so resilient it does not need signs and wonders to survive. I am teaching you to walk by faith, not by sight or by sound. The greatest miracles in your life will be born in these periods of quiet surrender. So do not fear the silence. Rest in it. For in the stillness, you will truly know that I am God. We must talk about your idea of strength, because the way you see it is causing you so much pain. You have been taught by the world that strength is about holding on, clenching your fists, and never letting anyone see you struggle. You believe you must be strong, which to you means building walls around your heart and carrying your burdens alone. My child, that is not strength, that is isolation. True strength, the kind that lasts, is often found in the very opposite, in letting go. It is the strength to open your hands and surrender the situation you cannot change to the one who can. It is the strength to admit you are not in control. That act of surrender is the most powerful move you can make. You think strength is to never fall. You see every stumble as a failure, a sign of weakness. So you put on a brave face, pretending that you are fine when you are crumbling inside. But true strength is not in avoiding the fall. It is in how you rise. It is the courage to get back up, dust yourself off, and reach for my hand every single time. The world will not see your stumbles as strength, but I do. Each time you rise, you declare that your trust in my grace is greater than your belief in your weakness. That is the strength that shakes the foundations of darkness. Your culture praises independence. It celebrates the self-made person who needs no one. But my kingdom is built on the foundation of dependence, a joyful, willing, complete dependence on me. Your stubborn independence, that voice that says I can do it myself, is not a virtue. It is a fortress you have built that keeps my power and my help at a distance. The great secret of the spiritual life, the one the enemy does not want you to know, is this: your strength begins at the end of your own. True strength is found in admitting your weakness. When you finally say, I cannot do this, I am not enough, that is the moment my power is made perfect in you. Your weakness is not a liability. It is an invitation for my strength to show up in your life. It is not the loud warrior who wins, but the humble servant who kneels. Strength is found in forgiving when you have been wronged, in showing kindness when you receive hostility, in admitting you were wrong. It is the quiet, unyielding strength of a heart that rests in me. My child, pause before you turn away. We have only just cleared the ground of the world's lies. To leave now would be to walk away from the very foundation I long to build in you, the truth of my unconditional love. Do not grieve my heart by being content with an empty field when I am ready to build you a fortress. Today, the most important truth is next. Finally, my child, we must speak of the most important truth of all: my love for you. You keep trying to understand my love through the broken lens of human love, and that is why you remain insecure. You have seen human love fail. You have seen it be conditional, demanding, and temporary. So you project that onto me. You think you must earn my love, and you are terrified of losing it. But my love is not human. It operates on a completely different principle. Human love is often a contract. I will love you if you meet my needs, if you behave a certain way. My love is not a contract. It is a covenant. A covenant is an unbreakable promise based not on your performance, but on my character. It is a one-way guarantee. I will love you. Period. My love does not fade when you feel unlovable. In fact, It shines brightest in your darkest moments. When you have failed, when you are filled with shame and feel you are a disappointment, that is not when my love recoils. That is when my love rushes toward you like a flood. I am not a fair-weather father. I am the father who runs to meet his prodigal child while he is still a long way off. And please hear me on this. I do not love a future version of you. I am not waiting for you to become more holy, more disciplined, or more put together before I can fully love you. I love you as you are right now, in this moment. The you that is listening to me, with all your fears, all your doubts, all your failures, that is the you I love with an everlasting love. You must understand that my love is not just a powerful emotion I feel toward you. It is the very essence of my being. The scriptures say God is love. It is my fundamental nature. It is as impossible for me to stop loving you as it is for me to cease being God. And the proof is the cross. I did not wait for you to love me. I did not wait for you to ask for help. While you were still lost in your sin, while you were still my enemy, I demonstrated my love for you by sending my Son to die for you. It is a love that serves its enemies. It is a love that absorbs the blow rather than inflicting it. It is a love you can never fully comprehend, but you can fully experience. So stop trying to earn it. Stop being afraid you will lose it. You can do neither. Your only task is to receive it. Let it wash over you. Let it heal you. Let it define you. Just rest, my child, in the unshakable reality of my love. My child, I must speak to you about your pain. I see it so clearly. I am not a distant God, immune to the aches of your heart. I see the nights you have cried into your pillow, hoping no one would hear. I see the sharp sting of betrayal that still catches your breath, the chronic physical pain that drains your energy, and the hollow emptiness that a deep loss has carved into your soul. Your first instinct is to ask me, why? You feel that your suffering must be a sign of my displeasure, a punishment for some past failing. Hush that thought. Let me be unequivocally clear. I do not author your pain. Evil, brokenness, and the choices of others have brought these wounds into your life. But this I promise you with all of my being. I will not waste a single drop of it. In my hands, the very things that were meant to destroy you will become the tools that build you. Every tear you have shed is precious to me. You think they vanish into the air, forgotten. But I collect them all. Not one is lost. Not one goes unnoticed. They are a testament to the battles you have endured, and in my economy, they become seeds. In the soil of your suffering, watered by your tears, I am growing something beautiful and strong. I am shaping your character. Comfort is a pleasant place to visit, but very little of eternal value is ever built there. It is in the fire that the impurities are burned away. It is under pressure that a lump of carbon becomes a diamond. The intense pressure you feel right now, the feeling that you are being crushed, I am with you in it, and I am using it to forge in you a character of pure gold, a resilience and compassion that could never be manufactured in a life of ease. Listen to me, this is so important. Your greatest and most effective ministry will come from your deepest wounds. How can you genuinely comfort someone who is grieving if you have never known loss? How can you offer hope to the one betrayed if you have never felt that sting yourself? The scars you will carry are not signs of your defeat. They are proof of my healing. They will become a map of grace that you can offer to another traveler lost in the same dark valley. One day, you will look another wounded soul in the eyes and say with unshakable authority, I know this pain. I have been here, but I also know the way out. Let me walk with you. Your pain is a training ground for your purpose. So I urge you, in the midst of your trial, change your question. Stop asking only, "Why is this happening?" and start asking, "My God, where are you in this?" I'm here. I am closer than the ache in your heart, closer than the breath in your lungs. I am not just watching you suffer. I am suffering with you, holding you, and redeeming every moment for a glory you cannot yet see. Now, we need to talk about a power you use every single day, often without a second thought. It is the power of your words, the power of your tongue. My word tells you that life and death are held in this power, and this is not an exaggeration. It is a spiritual law. Your words are like seeds. You are constantly planting them in the soil of your life, and they will, without fail, produce a harvest. The question is, what kind of seeds are you planting? Are you planting seeds of life, hope, and truth, or are you planting seeds of death, fear, and lies? I am inviting you to become a conscious gardener of your life, to choose your words with intention. Listen to yourself for one day. Listen to the words you speak over yourself. When you make a mistake, do you say, "I am such a failure"? When you look in the mirror, do you criticize what you see? When you face a challenge, do you mutter, "This is impossible. I'll never get through this"? My child, when you speak like this, you are not merely venting frustration. You are speaking a curse over your own life. You are agreeing with the lies of the enemy. You are giving him the very words he needs to build a prison of despair around you. You must stop partnering with the one who seeks to destroy you. You have a choice. I have given you the alternative. I want you to learn to speak my promises over your circumstances. This is the language of faith. When you feel weak, you must open your mouth and declare, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." When you are riddled with fear about your future, you must speak out, "My God has plans to prosper me, to give me a hope and a future." This is not denial. This is a declaration of a higher reality. You are using your words to align your earthly situation with my heavenly truth. Your words of praise are your most powerful offensive weapon. When you begin to thank me in the middle of your storm, it confuses the enemy. He expects you to complain and despair. But when you praise, you are declaring that your trust in me is bigger than your problem. You are building a throne for my presence right in the heart of your trouble, and darkness cannot remain where I am enthroned. A prayer is not just a wish, it is a declaration. Use your words to build, to heal, to bless, and to align your life with my will. Speak life. I know how desperately you want to understand. You crave a detailed map of your life, a blueprint that explains every detour, every delay, every painful event. Your mind, which I created to be wonderfully analytical, wrestles with the why. Why did that door close? Why am I in this season of waiting? Why did you allow that person to hurt me? You believe that if you could just understand, then you could have peace. But my child, you have it backward. I am calling you to a peace that is not dependent on your understanding. I am asking for your trust. Your mind is brilliant, but it is finite. My wisdom is infinite. There will be things in your life that you will never fully understand on this side of eternity. My thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways. To demand that I explain myself to you, to insist that my plans fit within the confines of your human logic, is like a child demanding that their father explain quantum physics. The father could try, but the child simply lacks the capacity to comprehend. I am asking you to stop needing to understand and start choosing to trust. Understanding is a function of the mind. Trust is a function of the heart. I am after your heart. This is a fundamental principle of my kingdom. Obedience precedes understanding. You want to understand fully before you take a step of faith. But I call you to take the step, and I promise to give you the understanding you need as you walk. Trust is the currency of my kingdom. Without faith, my word says, it is impossible to please me. Your trust is the greatest act of worship you can offer me. When everything in your circumstances screams that I am absent or uncaring, and yet you lift your hands and whisper, I trust you, that is a fragrance that fills all of heaven. You are glorifying my name. You are declaring to the seen and unseen world that I am good, I am wise, and I am in control, even when nothing makes sense. I am leading you on a path that requires you to hold my hand, not to hold a map. A map gives you the illusion of control. Holding my hand requires a moment-by-moment relationship of trust and dependence. Let go of the need to know why. It is a heavy burden. Instead, take hold of my hand. I know the way. Trust me. My precious child, you must open your spiritual eyes. You feel the friction, the conflict, the sudden waves of despair, and you think the battle is with the people and circumstances you can see. You get angry at your spouse. You feel frustrated by your coworker. You despair over your financial statement. But you are aiming at the wrong enemy. Your battle is not against flesh and blood. You are in the midst of an unseen spiritual war, and the enemy's primary strategy is to make you think it doesn't exist. He wants you to believe that your struggles are merely psychological, circumstantial, or relational. But there is a spiritual force that seeks to steal your peace, kill your hope, and destroy your faith. Do not be naive about this. When a sudden storm of lies fills your mind, you are worthless. You will never change. God has forgotten you. That is not your own thought. It is an arrow from the enemy. When a temptation that you thought you had conquered suddenly rears its head with overwhelming force, that is an attack. Your human weapons are useless here. Anger will not defeat this foe. Arguments will not make him flee. Bitterness is a poison that only harms you. I have given you spiritual weapons. Your primary weapon is the sword of the Spirit, which is my word. When my son was tempted in the wilderness, he did not argue with the devil. He simply spoke my word. You must do the same. When a lie attacks your mind, you must counter it out loud with my truth. You think of prayer as a last resort, a defensive shield. But prayer is your primary offensive weapon. It is you, in the authority I have given you, enforcing the victory that my son has already won. It is you pushing back the darkness. This is why I command you to put on the full armor that I have provided. It was not a suggestion. You would not go into a physical battle without protection, yet you walk into spiritual battles every day completely exposed. Put on the helmet of salvation to protect your mind from lies. Take up the shield of faith to extinguish the enemy's flaming arrows of doubt and fear. And here is the key to it all, the truth that will change everything. You are not fighting for victory. You are fighting from a victory that has already been won. The war was decided at the cross and the empty tomb. Jesus won. Your enemy is a defeated foe. Now, stand your ground and enforce that victory in the territory of your life. You feel the weight of this unseen battle. I have revealed it to you not to cause fear, but to equip you. It would wound my heart to show you the fight and then watch you walk away unarmed. Today, let me show you how to find rest in the present moment, for that is where your true victory is lived. Where is your mind right now, my child? Is it replaying a painful memory from yesterday? Is it racing ahead, trying to solve a problem that might happen next week? I want to pull you back from the past and the future and give you the most valuable gift I have, this present moment. This is the only place you will ever truly find me. Yesterday is gone. I have already covered its regrets and failures with my grace. You cannot go back to fix it, and I do not ask you to. Tomorrow is a land you have not yet entered. It is held securely in my hands. You do not have the grace or strength for tomorrow yet, because it is not yet today. All you have is now. Worrying about the future is the thief of present joy. It forces you to squander the strength I have given you for today on the anxieties of a tomorrow that may never happen as you imagine. It is like trying to breathe tomorrow's air today. You will only end up suffocating. I have promised to be your daily bread. I gave my people manna in the wilderness for 1 day at a time. I taught you to pray, "Give us this day our daily bread." I provide what you need for today. When today becomes tomorrow, my provision will be there waiting for you. Trust in my timing. I want you to learn to find me in the ordinary. I am not just present in the thunder and lightning. I am in the quiet rhythm of your breathing. I am in the warmth of the sun on your skin. I am in the taste of your morning coffee. I am in the gentle kindness of a stranger's smile. The world screams for your attention, but I whisper in the stillness of the now. Regret is a prison built in the past. Anxiety is a prison built in the future. But the present moment is a place of freedom and peace because it is where I am. Practice the discipline of being present. When you find your mind wandering into the regrets of yesterday or the fears of tomorrow, gently guide it back. Say to your soul, "Be here, now. My God is with me now. I am the great I am, not the I was or the I will be. Meet me here in this sacred, holy, present moment. This is where peace is found. This is where life is truly lived. My child, let me speak directly to the most hidden and painful fear in your heart. It is a whisper from the enemy that you have mistaken for your own thought, a lie that has shadowed you for years. The fear that you are, at your core, a mistake. That your existence was an accident. That your personality is flawed. That you are a disappointment. Today, I am here to shatter that lie with the force of my truth. You are not a mistake. You are a message. Your life is a living, breathing testimony, a story that I am writing with the ink of my grace for a watching world to read. You are not a random assembly of cells. You are a divine masterpiece. I chose you before the foundation of the world. I knew your name before you were ever formed. Your life is an act of my deliberate and loving will. I want you to consider the unique way I have made you. That specific combination of your gifts, the passions that make your heart beat faster, the quirks of your personality, and yes, even the most painful and confusing experiences of your past. None of it is random. It is all by my design. I have been weaving these threads together your entire life, creating a magnificent tapestry that only you can display. You spend so much of your energy comparing your tapestry to someone else's. You see their bright colors of success and visible talent, and you look at your own threads of quiet faithfulness, hidden struggles, and past pains, and you think yours is inferior. Stop comparing. You cannot see the full picture I am weaving. Every thread, even the dark ones, is essential for the final masterpiece. Your story is meant to declare a unique aspect of my glory that no one else can. And what of your weaknesses? The very things you try so desperately to hide from others and from me. These are the areas I have chosen as the primary platforms for my strength. You think your weakness disqualifies you, but I see it as the place where my power can be most beautifully displayed. When you are strong in your own ability, you get the credit. But when you are weak, and you rely on me, and you see me work through you, then I get the glory. Your weakness is not a liability. It is an empty space I long to fill with my power. You are my living letter, my word says. Read by everyone you meet. Your life tells a story about me. When you live in fear, your life tells a story that your God is small. When you live in comparison, your life tells a story that your Creator makes mistakes. But when you live in the confidence of who I say you are, your life becomes a powerful message that your God is a loving Father, a masterful Creator, and a powerful Redeemer. Your purpose is not some grand, hidden thing you must find. Your purpose is to be the message day by day. Live out the truth of who you are in me, right where you are, and your life will shout my goodness to the world. My child, because your life itself is my message, I have waited to ask you to become my messenger. There is another soul, just like you, who feels like a mistake at this very moment, drowning in the world's lies and waiting for a word of hope. You have received this truth not just to keep it, but to send it. I declare to you, as you sow this seed of faith into this ministry, it will become a harvest of hope in a life you may never see. For every seed you sow, I will command a harvest of blessing back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is your moment to answer the call. Sow your seed of faith now. Click Super Thanks, join the membership, or use the PayPal link in the description to send this message of life into the darkness. I know your heart. I know that after being hurt, your instinct is to retreat, to build walls, to try and walk this journey of faith alone. It feels safer. You tell yourself, it's just me and God. That's all I need. But that thought, as understandable as it is, does not come from me. I created you for connection, not for isolation. The journey I have called you to is not a solo mission. It is a pilgrimage you must take with others. You were not designed to be a solitary Christian. You were designed to be a vital part of a body, a living stone in a spiritual house. A single ember, when pulled from the fire, will quickly grow cold and dark. But when kept together with other embers, its heat and light can last for hours. You need the warmth and light of other believers. I have placed you in a community for a reason. As my word says, iron sharpens iron. You need the perspective of your brothers and sisters to sharpen your own. You need their encouragement when your faith feels weak. You need their strength when you feel you cannot go on. And you need their loving accountability when you are tempted to wander off the path. This is not always comfortable. Being in true community means being vulnerable. It means letting others see your weaknesses and struggles. But it is in that vulnerability that true strength is found. The enemy's favorite strategy is to isolate a sheep from the flock. The lone sheep is always the easiest target. Do not make his job easy for him. There is immense safety and protection within the flock I have given you. And yes, I know you have been hurt, perhaps deeply. The place that should have been the safest, my church, my people, may have been the source of your greatest pain. I see that wound, and I do not take it lightly. But I urge you, do not let the failure of my imperfect people cause you to forsake my perfect design for community. You must be the one who extends grace, precisely because you know how much grace you have received from me. Bear one another's burdens. When you see someone in your community struggling, don't just offer a prayer from a distance. Step into their mess. Help carry their load. In doing this, you are fulfilling the highest law, the law of Christ, which is to love. You show the world a tangible picture of my love when you love each other. Loving me, whom you cannot see, is proven by your love for your brother, whom you can see. Do not give up on my people, because I have not given up on them, and I have not given up on you. Let us speak now of one of the most difficult and most freeing commands I have ever given you, the command to forgive. There is a person, perhaps several, whose name just came to your mind. The memory of their words or actions still feels like a fresh wound. A part of you holds on to the anger, the bitterness, the desire for justice, because you believe that forgiving them is the same as saying, what you did was okay. It is not. What they did was wrong. They hurt you, and it hurt me. Forgiveness does not erase the sin. It chooses to release the sinner from your personal judgment and place them into my hands. You must understand this. Forgiveness is not primarily for them. It is for you. It is the key that unlocks the prison you have been living in. You think forgiveness is a feeling, but it is not. It is a choice. It is an act of your will, empowered by my spirit. You will likely never feel like forgiving them. You must choose it. And or is it forgetting? I created you with a memory. You may never forget the wound, but you can choose to release the power the memory has over you. Right now, your unforgiveness is a chain that keeps you tethered to the person who hurt you and to the past. They continue to hurt you every single day because you allow the memory to live with power inside of you. Unforgiveness is the poison you drink, hoping that the other person will die. But it only sickens your own soul, choking out my peace and joy. When you choose to forgive, you are the one who drinks the antidote. You are the one who is set free. So how do you do this when the pain feels so immense? You must constantly look at the cross. You must remember the mountain of debt, the unpayable sum of your sin against a holy God, that I forgave you without hesitation. When you compare the debt I canceled for you to the debt you are holding against another, it changes your perspective. From that place of profound gratitude for your own forgiveness, you find the grace to extend it to others. And you will have to choose it again and again. The memory will surface, and the pain will try to return. Each time, you must make the choice again. I release them. I will not be their judge. I give them to you, Lord. Each time you do this, the root of bitterness weakens. Do not let what someone else did to you in the past destroy the beautiful future I have for you. Make the choice. Break the chain. Choose freedom. Choose forgiveness. My child, I have not left you as an orphan in this world to figure things out on your own. When my Son ascended to heaven, He promised to send a helper, and I have given you the greatest gift for your journey, my own Spirit, the Holy Spirit, who lives within you. You often treat Him as an impersonal force, a vague spiritual concept. He is not in it. He is the third person of the Trinity, fully God, and He is your personal and constant companion. He is your comforter, the one who comes alongside you in your deepest sorrow and comforts you with a peace that transcends circumstances. He is your counselor, the one who whispers my wisdom into your heart when you are confused and do not know which way to turn. He is your guide, who leads you into all truth and illuminates my word, making it come alive to you. You must learn to recognize His voice. In a world of noise, He does not shout. He speaks with a still, small voice, a gentle nudge, a quiet prompting in your spirit. He will bring a scripture to your mind at the exact moment you need it. He will give you a sense of unease, a check in your spirit, when you are about to make a wrong decision. This is my will being communicated directly to your heart. It is also His role to convict you of sin. You'll not confuse His loving conviction with the enemy's harsh condemnation. Condemnation is a voice of shame that pushes you down and away from me. Conviction is a loving voice of truth that says, this is not who you are. This behavior is beneath the new creation I have made you to be. Come, let's turn back to your Father. His conviction is never meant to produce shame, but to lead you to the freedom of repentance. You cannot live the life I have called you to in your own strength. Your willpower is not enough. Your good intentions will fail you. The Holy Spirit is the one who empowers you to do what is impossible in the natural. He is the power that enables you to love your enemy, to choose joy in the midst of sorrow, and to stand firm against temptation. He is the seal of your salvation, my permanent mark on you that declares you are mine forever. He is the guarantee, the down payment, of your full heavenly inheritance. I urge you, cultivate your relationship with Him. Do not ignore Him or grieve Him. Acknowledge His presence every morning. Ask for His filling and His guidance throughout your day. Talk to Him. He is my very presence, living with you and in you, your direct line to me, every moment of every day. I have just introduced you to my very Spirit, the Comforter I have sent to be with you always. To turn from this conversation now would be to leave the giver of the gift standing with his hands outstretched. My spirit yearns to reveal the depth of my grace to you next, which is more than just a pardon for sin. Do not turn your back on such a personal and powerful love. We must deepen your understanding of my grace. You tend to think of it as a one-time pardon, like a judge slamming a gavel and declaring you not guilty for your past sins. It is absolutely that, but if that is all you think it is, you are missing its ongoing, life-altering power. My grace is not just my forgiveness for your sin. It is my divine power that I give you to actually overcome that sin. You are stuck in a frustrating cycle. You sin, you feel guilty, you confess, you promise to do better, and then you fall into the same sin again. You are trying to achieve holiness through sheer willpower and self-effort. You are trying to climb a mountain in your own strength. My grace is the power that lifts you up the mountain. It is the fuel for your transformation. It is my life flowing through you, enabling you to become the person I created you to be. Grace is also my unmerited favor. This means I am constantly working for your good, not because you have earned it, but simply because I am good and I love you. Grace is what opens a door of opportunity that you didn't even know existed. Grace is what protects you from a danger you never saw coming. Grace is what gives you wisdom beyond your years in a critical moment. It is the undeserved kindness I pour out on every area of your life. My promise to you is that my grace is sufficient for you. What does that mean in your daily life? It means that in your moment of overwhelming weakness, my grace is enough to be your strength. In your season of deep grief, my grace is enough to be your comfort. In your time of financial lack, my grace is enough to be your provision. There is no situation you will ever face, no weakness you possess, no need you have that is greater than the supply of my grace. Because of this, I command you, stop trying to earn what I have given to you freely as a gift. Stop trying to pay me back for my love. You cannot. Your relationship with me is not a transaction based on merit. It is a loving relationship based on grace. Imagine yourself standing under a tiny, dripping faucet, trying to catch enough water in your hands. That is a picture of living by your own effort. Now, imagine yourself standing under the thundering power of a massive waterfall, letting it completely soak you. That is what it means to live under my grace. It is abundant, overwhelming, and constantly flowing. Stop living by the drip of your own effort and step under the waterfall of my grace. It is the very foundation of your life in me. My beloved child, we must have a serious talk about success, because the definition you have been chasing is a heavy burden I never gave you. The world has handed you a scorecard, and you have spent years desperately trying to measure up. It is a game of constant comparison, a relentless climb on a ladder that leads nowhere of eternal value. The world tells you that success is a bigger title, a larger salary, a more impressive house, or the applause of others. So you work longer hours, you sacrifice your peace, and you wear a mask of competence, all while feeling like you are constantly falling short. You achieve a goal, and for a fleeting moment, you feel a sense of relief. but it is quickly replaced by the anxious pursuit of the next goal. My child, you are chasing the wind. That is not success. It is a treadmill of striving that I have come to set you free from. I want you to take the world's scorecard and tear it up. I operate from a completely different set of metrics. In my kingdom, I do not measure success by the size of your accomplishments, but by the faithfulness of your heart. I am less concerned with what you do and more concerned with who you are becoming. Are you becoming more loving, more patient, more kind, more gentle? Are you growing in your ability to trust me? That is what I call success. A successful day in my eyes is not defined by your productivity, but by your love. Did you love me today? Did you love the people I put in your path? Did you choose kindness over being right in an argument? Did you show patience when you were frustrated? Did you offer a word of encouragement to someone who was struggling? If you did, then your day was a monumental success, far more than the person who gained the whole world but lost their own soul. In my kingdom, the entire value system is inverted. The first shall be last. The greatest of all must be the servant of all. To be truly successful, you must learn to humble yourself. Your goal is not to make a name for yourself, but to make my name known through your love and service. Your ambition should not be to build your own little kingdom, but to seek first my kingdom and my way of doing things. When you make my priorities your priorities, I promise that all these other things you worry about, your provision, your needs, your future, will be taken care of. Stop running the world's race. It is an exhausting marathon with no true finish line. Instead, walk with me at a pace of grace. Find your value in my unshakable love for you, not in your unstable achievements. This is the path to a success that truly satisfies, a peace that cannot be taken from you, and a joy that is not dependent on your circumstances. This is the success I have for you. My child, you have made prayer so much more difficult than I ever intended it to be. You approach me with a sense of performance, as if you need to present a perfectly worded legal brief to capture my attention. You worry that your words are too simple, your requests too selfish, or your mind too distracted. And so, in your fear of not doing it right, you often avoid it altogether, and the distance between us grows. I want to cut through all that religious complexity and invite you back to the simple, beautiful truth of what prayer is. It is a conversation between a child and their father. It is a dialogue between two who love each other. I am not listening for your eloquence, I am listening for your heart. Do not ever believe that your words are not good enough. I hear the prayer that is nothing more than a single, weary sigh. I hear the prayer that is only a tear rolling down your cheek in the dark. I understand the groan of your spirit when you don't have the words to express the depth of your pain. These are some of the most powerful and honest prayers I hear. I am not impressed by lofty religious language. I am moved by your raw, unfiltered honesty. Stop editing your prayers. Stop trying to sound spiritual. Just talk to me. Tell me where it hurts. Tell me what you are afraid of. Tell me what you are thankful for. I already know everything in your heart, but I long to hear it from you. Your invitation for me to enter your struggle is an act of trust that honors me deeply. And remember, this is a dialogue, not a monologue. You have become very good at speaking to me, at presenting your list of needs and worries. But you must also learn to listen. After you have poured out your heart, I invite you to be still. Away. To quiet the frantic energy of your mind and simply be present with me. My response may not come in a booming voice from heaven. It may come as a quiet sense of peace that settles your anxious heart. It may come as a verse of scripture that suddenly comes to your mind with new meaning. It may come as a fresh perspective on your problem, an idea you hadn't considered before. Prayer is learning to recognize my voice in the stillness. It is not about changing my mind, but about allowing me to align your heart with mine. Pray without ceasing by living in a constant awareness of my presence. Talk to me in your car, at your desk, in the line at the grocery store. There is no problem too big for my power and no detail too small for my love. Come, let us talk. I want to speak directly to the heaviest chain you carry, the chain of your past. The enemy, your accuser, is a master historian of your failures. He loves to replay the film of your greatest mistakes in the theater of your mind. He whispers, remember that. After what you did, how could God ever use you? You are damaged goods. You are disqualified. And because there is a grain of truth in the memory, you did make that mistake. You believe the lie that comes with it. Today, the chain is going to break. The lie that your past disqualifies you is one of the most crippling deceptions you have believed it, and it comes straight from the pit of hell. I need you to look at the evidence. Look at the people I have used throughout history to change the world. Did I choose perfect people? No, I chose broken people who were willing to trust me. I chose a murderer named Moses to deliver my people. I chose a proud and impulsive fisherman named Peter to build my church. I chose a man who was an adulterer and a murderer, David, and I called him a man after my own heart. I chose the most zealous persecutor of my early followers, a man named Saul, and transformed him into the Apostle Paul, who would carry my message of grace to the world. Do you see a pattern? My power is not showcased in perfect people. It is showcased in my ability to take broken, flawed, and messy lives and redeem them for my glorious purposes. Your past does not disqualify you. It makes you a prime candidate for my grace. You must understand the spiritual reality of what happened at the cross. My son's blood did not just cover your sin like a fresh coat of paint over a dirty wall. It washed it clean. It removed it. When I look at you now, I do not see the stain of your past failures. I see the perfect, flawless righteousness of my Son, which hath been given to you as a gift. You are a new creation. The old you, the one who made those mistakes, is gone. That person is dead. You are new. The enemy will use your past to shame you, but I will use your past as a testimony to my incredible power to redeem and restore. Your story is not one of shame. It is a story of grace. So, do not allow a past that I have already forgiven, forgotten, and redeemed to hold your beautiful future hostage. When the accuser whispers a reminder of your past, you must learn to respond with a declaration of your present reality in Christ. Your scars are not a mark of your shame. They are a testament to my healing power. Walk in that freedom. Let us talk about my word, the Bible. I fear you see it as a chore, a duty, another item on your spiritual to-do list that you feel guilty about not doing enough. You open its pages and see a collection of ancient stories and rules that feel disconnected from your 21st century life. If that is how you see it, you are missing the entire point. My word is not a dead history book. It is alive and active. It is a love letter, penned through the hands of prophets and apostles, with every line breathing my passion and purpose for you. It is the primary way I have chosen to speak to you, to reveal my heart, and to show you how to live. In a world filled with confusion, shifting morals, and loud, conflicting opinions, my word is a lamp for your feet and a light for your path. It is your anchor of absolute truth in a sea of relativism. It does not just show you the path, it illuminates your very next step. When you do not know which way to turn, my word is your unerring guide. In its pages you discover me. You see my character revealed in the stories of my faithfulness to my people. You discover my promises, which are the unbreakable anchors for your soul in the storms of life. And you discover my will, not as a list of do's and don'ts designed to restrict you, but as a loving Father's instructions designed to lead you into the fullest, most joyful life possible. This is why you must not just be a passive reader. You must engage with it. To meditate on my word means to chew on it, to turn it over and over in your mind, to ask questions of it, and to allow it to sink deep into your spirit. It is spiritual food. You cannot survive spiritually without it. It is also a mirror. It shows you the truth about your own heart, revealing areas of sin and unbelief. But it does not leave you there in shame. It then becomes the water that washes you, cleanses you, and transforms you from the inside out. And critically, it is your weapon. When the enemy attacks you with lies of fear, doubt, and condemnation, your feelings are not a strong enough defense. Your opinions are not a strong enough defense. You must fight back with the sword of the Spirit, which is my word. My word is truth, and when you speak it, lies must flee. I have given you this incredible gift. Do not leave it on the shelf. Let it read you. Let it change you. Let it be the very foundation of your life. You now hold the truth of your redeemed past and the sword of my word in your hands. But what will you do when the waves of the present moment crash over you? My heart aches at the thought of you possessing these weapons but not knowing how to use them when you feel you are drowning. Do not stop now. The secret to peace when you are overwhelmed is next, and I cannot bear the thought of you facing that storm alone. I want to give you a very practical strategy for the moments when your heart is overwhelmed. I am speaking of those times when anxiety washes over you like a tidal wave, when your thoughts begin to spiral out of control, and you feel a sense of panic rising in your chest. In that moment, your human instinct is to flail, to fight, to try and frantically think your way to a solution. But that only makes you sink faster. I am calling you to do the very opposite of what feels natural. I am calling you to be still. Be still and know that I am God. This is not a passive command. It is an active spiritual discipline. It is a deliberate choice to stop the frantic striving of your mind and body and to acknowledge in that moment that I am sovereign over the storm that is raging within you and around you. The next step is to cast your anxiety upon me. I want you to picture this. See the specific worries that are overwhelming you as physical objects, as heavy stones in your hands. Name them one by one. The fear about that medical test, the worry about that bill, the anxiety over that relationship. Now, in an act of your will, I want you to imagine opening your hands and deliberately handing those stones to me. This is not just a mental trick. It is a spiritual transaction. You are giving me the right to carry the burden that you were never designed to bear. Why can you do this? Because I care for you. I am not a distant deity, annoyed by your needs. I am a loving Father who longs to lift the weight from your shoulders. Once you have given me the burden, you must shift your focus. As long as you keep staring at the size of the waves crashing over the side of your boat, you will be filled with fear. I am calling you to look away from the waves and to fix your eyes on me, the one who is walking on top of them. The fastest way to do this is through praise. I know it is the last thing you feel like doing, but it is the most powerful thing you can do. Open your mouth and begin to praise me. Thank me that I am faithful. Thank me that I am bigger than your problem. Thank me that I am with you in the storm. Praise shifts the atmosphere of your heart. It reorients your focus from the size of your problem to the greatness of your God. My promise is that I will keep you in perfect peace when your mind is stayed on me. In those moments when you feel nothing but fear, know this: Even if you cannot feel me, I am holding you. My grip is firm, and I will not let you go. My child, you have often told me that you love me, and in the sincerity of your heart, you mean it. But I must ask you to look closely at how that love is demonstrated, for I have made the path to me inseparable from the path to your neighbor. When I was asked what was the most important of all my commandments, I gave you two that are eternally bound together. Love me with everything you are and love your neighbor as you love yourself. The second command is not a footnote or a suggestion. It is the visible, tangible, undeniable proof of the first. It is the skin on the body of your faith. Without it, your declarations of love for me are just a beautiful sound, a clanging cymbal in an empty room. I know how difficult this is for you. Your love for me can feel private and pure, but your relationships with people are messy and complicated. The coworker who undermines you, the family member who constantly criticizes you, the neighbor with the opposing political sign in their yard, the stranger who is rude to you in the grocery store. These are the people I am talking about. They are the primary arena where your love for me is tested, proven, and made real. You cannot say you love me, whom you have not seen, if you cannot show patience and kindness to your brother, whom you see every day. You think love is a warm, spontaneous feeling, but I tell you it is a rugged, determined choice. It is the choice to be patient when you are provoked. It is the choice to be kind when you have been treated unfairly. It is a decision you make, not an emotion you feel. I am not commanding you to feel affectionate toward your enemy. I am commanding you to act in love toward them, and in that act of obedience, your heart will eventually follow. I want to give you a new perspective. I want you to ask me every day to see others through my eyes. You see their flaws, their failures, their annoying habits. You see the labels the world has placed on them. But when I look at them, I see a soul created in my own image. I see a person with hidden wounds and secret fears, just like you. I see a person for whom my son judged it worth dying. When you begin to see people as I see them, your heart will break with a compassion that replaces your urge to judge. This is the love that sets my children apart. Anyone can be kind to their friends, but to actively pray for the well-being of someone who has hurt you, to choose to serve someone who offers you nothing in return. This is the supernatural love of my kingdom flowing through you. Service is the language of this love. Look for the small opportunities to serve today, and in doing so, you will find you are loving me in the most profound way possible. You have heard my command to love your neighbor in action. Now I am showing you a way to love a neighbor you may never meet. If your heart truly desires to love as I love, then listen, for I have waited to present you with this sacred opportunity to act. There is a heart crying out to me at this very moment, and your gift is the carrier of my reply. I declare over you now, whoever is generous to the poor in spirit, those starving for this word, lends directly to me, and I myself will repay them. Your gift will become a river of my living water flowing to a thirsty soul. Become the answer to that prayer now. Release your gift through super thanks. Become a member to sustain this work, or use the PayPal link to pour out my love. My beloved, let us put our finger on the very center of your anxiety, the source of the constant, low-grade stress that hums beneath the surface of your life. It is your deeply ingrained illusion of control. You believe, somewhere in your heart, that you are the one holding your world together. You spend immense amounts of energy trying to manage outcomes, influence people's opinions, and plan for every possible contingency. You lie awake at night, not praying but planning, trying to solve tomorrow's problems with today's limited understanding. And the strain of this is crushing you because you are trying to do my job. You see surrender as a weakness, as a last resort when all your own efforts have failed. You see it as giving up. But in the upside-down reality of my kingdom, your surrender is your greatest victory. It is the moment you stop the futile struggle of white-knuckling the steering wheel of your life and move into the passenger seat, trusting the one who knows the way. I am the potter. You are the clay. A beautiful vessel is not formed when the clay resists the potter's hands, trying to shape itself. It is formed when it yields, when it is soft and pliable, trusting the vision of its maker. Your constant attempts to control your life are like the clay stiffening and fighting against my touch. You are not creating freedom, you are creating deformity. I know you have plans. I gave you a mind to be wise and to think ahead. Planning is a good and responsible act of stewardship. But you must learn the difference between holding your plans with a clenched fist and holding them with an open hand. A clenched fist says, "My will be done." An open hand says, "Father, this is my hope, this is my desire, but your will be done." When you hold your plans with an open hand, you give me the freedom to alter them, to improve them, to lead you on a detour that may seem like a delay but is actually my divine shortcut to a destination far better than the one you had in mind. Your responsibility is simple. Be faithful and obedient with the step I have placed right in front of you today. The outcome of that step, and all the steps that follow, is my responsibility. Stop trying to do my job. The peace you so desperately crave will never be found in mastering control of your life. It will only be found in trusting the one who has always been, and always will be, in complete control. Let go. My child, we must have a heart-to-heart about joy, because you have been settling for its cheap imitation, and it is leaving you empty. You have confused my joy with the world's happiness, and this confusion is the reason your emotional life is like a roller coaster, soaring one moment and plummeting the next. Happiness is wonderful, but it is a feeling completely dependent on your happenings. When your circumstances are good, you feel happy. When you get the promotion, when the relationship is going well, when you receive good news, happiness comes. But when circumstances turn, when you face a setback, when a relationship becomes strained, your happiness evaporates like a morning mist. It is a cork bobbing on the surface of the waves, entirely at the mercy of the weather. The joy I offer you is something else entirely. It is not an emotion that comes and goes. It is a deep, abiding state of being. It is a fruit of my spirit, which means it is grown from the inside out, from your connection to me. It is not a cork on the waves. It is an anchor for your soul that holds you firm and secure even when the hurricane of life is raging around you. It is a deep, artesian well within you that never runs dry, not a shallow puddle that disappears at the first sign of heat. You have been digging for joy in all the wrong places, in achievement, in entertainment, in possessions, in the approval of others. These things can offer moments of pleasure and happiness, but they will never deliver lasting joy. Why? Because fullness of joy is found in only one place, in my presence. Joy is not the goal. It is the beautiful, inevitable byproduct of a life lived in communion with me. The joy of the Lord is your strength. You must understand this. Joy is not a luxury. It is a necessity for your spiritual survival. The enemy knows this. His primary strategy against you is to steal your joy. He will tempt you to complain, to focus on what is wrong, to live in fear, to nurture bitterness. He knows that a Christian who has lost their joy has lost their strength. I become weak, weary, and ineffective. This is why you must guard your joy. And it is why I command you to rejoice. It is a choice. You can choose to set your mind on what is good, true, and beautiful. You can choose gratitude over grumbling. You can choose to praise me even when you don't feel like it. Joy is not the absence of trouble. It is the defiant presence of God in the middle of the trouble. It is you looking at the storm and declaring with quiet confidence, "My God is with me. All is well with my soul." That is the joy, that is your strength and your birthright. My child, let us speak now of the final shadow that haunts humanity, the fear that underlies so many other fears, the fear of death. The world sees death as the ultimate end, a tragic conclusion, a final goodbye. It is seen as a loss, an enemy, a great unknown to be avoided and delayed at all costs. And for those who do not know me, it is indeed a fearful thing. But for you, my beloved, for you who are in my Son, I want to completely reframe your understanding of death. I want to remove its power to intimidate you, so that you can live your life on earth with freedom and purpose. For the believer, for my child, death is not a dead end. It is not a period at the end of a sentence. It is a comma. It is a doorway. It is a glorious transition from a world of brokenness, tears, and pain into my immediate, unfiltered, and eternal presence. It is not an extinction. It is a graduation. It is not a final loss. It is the ultimate homecoming. You must hold on to the reality of what my Son accomplished. He walked into the jaws of death for you. He took its full sting, its full penalty, and then he shattered its power forever when he walked out of the tomb. The resurrection is not just a historical event. It is your personal victory. Because he lives, you too shall live. Death hath been defeated. It still exists as a physical process, but its spiritual power to destroy and separate you from me hath been utterly broken. To be absent from the body is to be present with me. Can you grasp the beauty of that promise? The very moment your journey on this earth concludes, your true life begins. You will see me face to face. Every question will be answered. Every tear will be wiped away. This is why I urge you not to live your life solely for the treasures of this world. Do not build a legacy of earthly possessions and accomplishments that will one day turn to dust. Live with an eternal perspective. Invest your life in the things that will last forever. Love, faith, service. Store up your treasures in heaven. This truth does not mean that you will not grieve when a loved one who belongs to me passes on. You will feel the sting of separation, the ache of their absence, and that is a right and human response. But you do not grieve like the rest of the world that has no hope. Your grief is always mingled with the confident and joyful expectation of a certain reunion. So do not fear this passage. Your eternity is secure. Live this day fully, knowing that your final chapter has already been written, and it is an eternity of joy in my presence. We have looked into eternity together, and I have taken the fear of death from you. But my desire is not just for you to be unafraid of dying, it is for you to be fully alive. It would grieve me deeply for you to understand your eternal home but never learn the secret of a repentant, contented heart for the journey there. The most practical truths are yet to come. Please, do not miss what I have to say. My child, we must clarify the nature of true repentance, because a misunderstanding here has kept you in a cycle of shame and defeat. You sin, you feel a pang of guilt, you say, "I'm sorry," and then, before long, you find yourself right back in the same pattern. This is because you have often confused worldly sorrow with godly sorrow, and they are not the same. Worldly sorrow is the regret of being caught. It is the sting of consequences. It is a self-centered grief over how your sin has negatively affected you. It leads to shame and despair. But godly sorrow, which is the heart of true repentance, is something entirely different. It is a genuine grief, a breaking of your own heart, not just for the consequences, but for the fact that your action has grieved my heart and has broken fellowship with me. The word repentance in its original language means to change your mind. It is not primarily an emotion. It is a decision. It is a fundamental shift in your thinking where you stop making excuses for your sin, you stop minimizing it, and you fully agree with me about its destructive nature. You see it from my perspective. It is you finally saying, "My way was wrong. Your way is right." This internal change of mind must then lead to an external change of direction. It is a U-turn on the road of your life. You were walking in a direction that leads away from me, and you make a conscious, deliberate choice to turn around and begin walking back towards me, into the light of my ways and my will. And here is the most beautiful part of this process, the part the enemy of your soul does not want you to know. The moment you make that turn, the moment your heart inclines toward me in genuine repentance, I do not wait for you to clean yourself up. I do not stand at a distance with my arms crossed, demanding you prove your sincerity. No. I am the father in the story of the prodigal son. I have been scanning the horizon, waiting and longing for your return. And the moment I see you turn towards home, I run to you. I embrace you. I cover your rags of shame with the robe of my righteousness. My forgiveness is immediate, complete, and overwhelming. Do not see your need to repent as a sign of your failure. See it as a sign of your spiritual life. The fact that you feel the conviction of my spirit is proof that you are my child. So when you fall, do not run from me in shame. That is the enemy's trap. Run to me in repentance. My arms are always open to you, filled with mercy and grace. My child, let us speak now of your calling, for you have wounded your own heart by comparing the path I have set for you with the path I have set for others. You look at those with visible gifts, those on a stage or with a large following, and a feeling of insignificance creeps into your soul. The enemy whispers, "See, they have a real calling. What you do is small and unimportant." You must silence that voice, for it is a lie that robs you of the joy of your own unique purpose. I am not a God of mass production. I am a God of intricate, personal design. I am the master artist, and you are one of my original works. I have given you a specific and unique combination of passions, experiences, gifts, and even weaknesses, all woven together for the good works that I prepared in advance for you to do. You are a unique instrument in my grand orchestra. One is a trumpet, another a violin, another a quiet woodwind. The trumpet is not meant to sound like the violin, and the violin is foolish to envy the drum. Each has a part to play that is essential for the fullness of the symphony. When you spend your time wishing you had someone else's part, your own beautiful and necessary note goes unplayed. The music is less because of it. Your calling is not to be a second-rate version of someone else. It is to be a first-rate version of the person I created you to be. You must embrace the unique way I have made you. Furthermore, you have believed the lie that a calling must be something dramatic or professional, a formal ministry title. To the vast majority of my children, your most profound calling is in the ordinary, sacred ground of your everyday life. Your primary mission field is not across the ocean. It is across your dinner table. It is in your office. It is over the fence in your backyard. Do not despise the place I have put you. I have placed you there with divine intention. My focus is less on what you are doing, your job title, your role, and more on who you are becoming while you do it. Are you reflecting my character? Are you a conduit of my patience in a frustrating meeting? Are you an agent of my peace in a chaotic home? Are you a dispenser of my grace to the person who has wronged you? This is the very essence of your calling. The world does not need another celebrity. It is desperately thirsty for more of my children to faithfully and lovingly reflect my heart in the forgotten, ordinary places. Live your life as a message of my love, right where you are, and you will be profoundly fulfilling the unique and vital calling I have placed upon your life. My beloved, I see the deep restlessness that churns within your soul. It is a constant, nagging dissatisfaction. You live your life in the land of if only. If only I had more money, then I would be secure. If only I had a different job, then I would be fulfilled. If only my family were different, then I would have peace. You believe that a change in your external circumstances will finally bring the internal contentment you crave. But this is a mirage in the desert, always promising water and always moving further away as you approach. I want to teach you the secret that my servant Paul learned, the secret of being content in every and any situation. True, lasting contentment is never found in your circumstances, it is only ever found in me. Your circumstances are as unpredictable as the weather, sunny one day, stormy the next. If your contentment is attached to them, your soul will be in a constant state of turmoil. But I am the anchor for your soul, the unshakable rock who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. When your sense of well-being is rooted not in what is happening around you but in your relationship with me, you can find a supernatural stability even when the winds of life are howling. The enemy of this contentment is comparison. He is the thief of your joy. You scroll through the highlight reels of other people's lives, and you compare their curated images to your behind-the-scenes reality. And in that comparison, the seeds of discontent are sown. You must make a conscious choice to avert your gaze from the lives of others and to focus on the blessings I have poured into your own. This is why thankfulness is the very soil in which contentment grows. It is impossible to be genuinely grateful and discontented in the same moment. The two cannot coexist. I am calling you to the spiritual discipline of gratitude. Do not wait for a feeling of thankfulness to wash over you. Choose it. Practice it. Start and end your day by naming, one by one, the gifts I have given you. Be specific. Thank me for the breath in your lungs, for the food on your table, for the person who showed you a small kindness. A heart that is trained in gratitude is a heart that is armored against the poison of discontent. If you are not content with what you have now, you will never be content with what you hope to get later. More money will not solve the problem. It will only give you more to be anxious about. A change of scenery will not solve the problem. You will simply pack your discontented heart in your suitcase and take it with you. The change must happen within. A life lived in faithful communion with me, combined with this learned secret of contentment, is the richest life a human can possibly live. My child, I see your frustration with yourself. I see the impatience you have with your own spiritual growth. You look at the same flaws that you have been struggling with for years, the same quick temper, the same anxious thoughts, the same recurring temptation, and you fall into despair. You think to yourself, I'm not changing. I'll never be free from this. I'm a failure as a Christian. When you think this way, you are forgetting the most important truth about your transformation. You are not the one in charge of it. I am. So I want you to take this promise and hold it like a shield against your self-condemnation. I who began a good work in you will be faithful to carry it on to completion. You did not save yourself, and you cannot sanctify yourself. I am the author and the finisher of your faith. This process of you becoming more like my Son is a lifelong journey. It does not happen overnight. You look at your life as a series of daily snapshots, and you judge your progress based on today's performance. But I see the entire film, from beginning to end. I see the immense growth you have made over the years, growth that you are too close to see. You must learn to be as patient with yourself as I am with you. Your primary focus in this life should not be your immediate comfort or happiness. My priority is your character. I am far more interested in your holiness than your happiness, because I know that true, lasting joy can only be found in holiness. I am in the business of shaping you into the image of Jesus, and that is a process that sometimes requires tools that feel uncomfortable. I am the master gardener, and you are a branch in my vine. To make you more fruitful, I must sometimes prune you. This pruning can feel like loss. It might be the removal of a relationship, a job, or a comfort that has become a hindrance to your growth. But trust me, my pruning is always an act of love, designed to produce a greater harvest in your life. Do not despise my discipline. When I allow you to experience the natural consequences of a foolish choice, I am not punishing you in anger. I am lovingly correcting you as a father corrects a child he adores, because I love you too much to let you continue down a path that leads to destruction. You are my work in progress. You are a masterpiece that is still under construction. Do not judge the final painting while I am still at the easel. I am a master craftsman. I do not make mistakes, and I never, ever leave my work unfinished. Your part is not to perfect yourself, but to continually yield to my hands. Trust the process. I will complete what I have started. We must speak of hope, my child, because the world has given you a fragile, flimsy version that breaks under the slightest pressure. The world's hope is nothing more than wishful thinking. It says, I hope things get better, but it has no real foundation for that belief. It is a balloon, easily popped by disappointment. The hope I offer is something else entirely. It is not a wish, it is a confident and certain expectation. It is the joyful assurance that, because I am good and I am in control, the final outcome of my life is secure, regardless of the trials I am facing today. This hope is an anchor for your soul, firm and secure. Imagine your life as a boat on the sea. The winds of circumstance will blow, the waves of tragedy and disappointment will crash against you. If your hope is in your circumstances, your boat will be tossed about violently. But if your hope is anchored in the unshakable rock of who I am, your boat can remain steady, even in a hurricane. This anchor is what keeps your soul from being shipwrecked in the storms of life. You have been making the mistake of placing your hope in things that cannot bear its weight, in a particular outcome, in another person, in your financial security, in your government. All of these things will eventually fail you. I am calling you to pull up your anchor from the shifting sands of this world and to place it firmly in me. Your ultimate hope is not in what might happen, but in who holds you. This hope is not just for the future. It changes how you live right now. It is the fuel for your perseverance. When you are weary and feel like giving up, you must remind your soul of the glorious hope to which you have been called. Your ultimate hope is not for a perfect life on this broken earth. Your ultimate hope is in an eternal future with me, in a new heaven and a new earth where every tear will be wiped away and all things will be made new. This eternal perspective does not make your present life meaningless. It gives it profound meaning. It frees you to love and serve without being crushed by the temporary results. It allows you to grieve, but to grieve with the certain hope of reunion. It allows you to face trials, knowing that they are temporary and are producing in you an eternal glory. Do not let the darkness of your present circumstances extinguish the light of your eternal hope. It is your most precious possession. I have now anchored your soul in my eternal promises. But a promise is only powerful when you know how to live inside of it. We are at the most crucial part of our talk, your very next step. It would break my heart for you to have heard my voice, felt my love, and then to walk away unchanged, not knowing how to begin. Stay for this final instruction. Let me bring this divine appointment to its beautiful and life-altering conclusion. My beloved child, we have covered so much ground. I have poured out my heart to you, and I see your spirit trying to take it all in. I also see the flicker of overwhelm in your eyes. You are thinking, this is all so much. Where do I even begin? How can I possibly do all of this? I want you to take a deep breath and listen very carefully. I am not giving you a heavy burden. I am not handing you a list of 50 things to do by the end of the day. Transformation does not happen by being overwhelmed. It happens one small, faithful step at a time. I am not asking you to move the whole mountain today. I am simply asking you to pick up one stone. I want you to be still for a moment and ask my spirit, what is the one truth from our conversation that you want me to focus on right now? Do not try to hold on to everything at once. What was the one point that made your heart come alive? What was the one area where you felt a gentle, loving conviction? Perhaps it was a call to forgive. Perhaps it was a command to stop controlling. Perhaps it was the invitation to rest, or the challenge to guard your joy. Whatever it was, that is your starting point. That is your next step. Your next step is not a massive, heroic leap. It is a small, simple, practical act of obedience. If your step is to forgive, it is not to have a dramatic confrontation with the person who hurt you. Your next step is to simply whisper to me in prayer, Father, I choose to forgive them. If your step is to trust me with your future, it is not to have all your doubts magically disappear. Your next step is to identify one specific worry and to consciously hand it over to me. If your step is to live in the present, your next step is to put down your phone for 10 minutes and pay attention to the world around you. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one single step. You do not need to see the whole staircase. You just need to see the next step. I am illuminating it for you right now. Do not be paralyzed by the desire to see the whole path. Your headlights only show you the next 100 feet of road, but that is enough to get you all the way home. Take the one step I am showing you. I promise that when you do, I will be with you and I will show you the one after that. This is how we walk together. My child, as you prepare to step back into the flow of your life, I want to give you anchors for your soul. These are my foundational, unshakable promises to you. When your feelings are in turmoil, when your circumstances shout a message of fear, when the voices of doubt grow loud, you must cling to these truths. Write them on your heart. Let them be the first thing you turn to in a crisis and the last thing you meditate on at night. First, and most important of all, remember my promise of presence. I am with you always, even to the very end of the age. I will never leave you nor forsake you. There are moments, I know, when you feel profoundly alone, as if you are crying out into an empty room. That is a feeling, my child, but it is not the fact. The fact, the absolute reality, is that my spirit dwells within you. I am closer than your next breath. There is no depth of despair you can sink to where I am not with you. There is no lonely road you can walk where I am not beside you. You are never, ever alone. This is not a hopeful wish. It is a divine guarantee. Second, you must hold fast to my promise of purpose. My word declares that all things work together for the good of those who love me and are called according to my purpose. Now listen carefully. This does not mean that everything that happens to you is good. It is not. You live in a broken world, and you will experience pain, loss, and injustice. What this promise means is that my wisdom and power are so infinite that I can take the worst parts of your story, the pain that was inflicted on you, the consequences of your own mistakes, the tragedies that make no sense, and I can weave them together for an ultimate and beautiful good. I do not cause your pain, but I will redeem it. Not a single tear is wasted. Your suffering is not meaningless. In my hands, it is being forged into something of eternal value, your testimony, your compassion, your strength. Third, you must actively receive my promise of peace. I have given you a peace which transcends all human understanding, and its purpose is to guard your heart and your mind. The world searches for peace in the absence of problems, but I give you peace in the presence of problems. It is a supernatural calm that stands guard over your inner world when your outer world is in chaos. Fourth, live in the security of my promise for your future. The enemy wants to fill you with dread, to convince you that your best days are gone, and that your story ends in defeat. But I have declared, I have plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Your story does not end in shame or despair. I am the author, and I am writing a good ending. Finally, rest completely in the promise of my unchanging character. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. People will change. Your moods will change. Your circumstances will change. But I do not change. My love for you is not a fickle emotion. My promises are not unreliable. You can build the entire weight of your life, your hopes, and your future on the unshakable rock of who I am. You can count on me. My beloved child, our sacred time of quiet is coming to an end for now, but our conversation is not. This encounter was never meant to be a temporary escape from your life. It was meant to be a permanent infusion of truth into your life. I am commissioning you now. I am sending you out from this place, but you do not go as you came, and you do not go alone. Go from this place not just informed with new ideas, but transformed by the reality of my love. I want you to carry my presence with you as a tangible reality. Do not leave me here in the stillness. Take me with you into the noise, into the traffic, into the difficult meeting, into the family dinner. The peace you feel right now is not reserved for your quiet times. It is your inheritance for all time. The strength you feel now is your portion for the challenges ahead. Do not compartmentalize your life into the sacred and the secular. I want to permeate every moment, to make every place holy ground because you are there and I am in you. Let your entire life become your act of worship. You have thought of worship as something you do for an hour a week, with psalms and prayers. That is beautiful, but it is only the beginning. True worship is your life lived in response to my love. The patience you show to your child when you are exhausted is an act of worship. The integrity you display in your finances when no one is looking is an act of worship. The kindness you extend to a stranger, the forgiveness you offer to the one who hurt you, the choice to trust me instead of worrying. These are the sacrifices that are a pleasing aroma to me. Let your life be a continuous offering of love and trust back to the one who has given you everything. Walk now in the freedom I have spoken over you. Walk in the peace that is your anchor. Walk in the unique purpose for which I have so lovingly created you. Walk in the joy that is your strength. And before you go, hear my heart one more time. You are seen. I see you completely, and I know you fully. You are known. You are cherished with a love so vast it sent my son to the cross for you. There is nothing you can ever do to make me love you more, and there is absolutely nothing you can ever do to make me love you less. It is a finished work. It is a settled fact. Rest in this love. Go now, my child. Go back into your world, but go differently. Live as the one you truly are, my beloved, seen, known, and cherished. And remember, I am always here, just like this, waiting for the next moment you will still your heart and listen. Our conversation is never over. As you go from this place, I anoint you with your first act of worship, to send this very word that has transformed you to another. I have waited until this final moment to ask, for this is not merely a request, it is your commissioning. Before the world rushes back in, seal your encounter with an offering of praise that will carry this fire to the ends of the earth. I speak this promise over you now. Test me in this. Bring your gift into my storehouse, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out a blessing you do not have room enough to contain. Obey the prompting of my spirit. Act now. Use super thanks, the membership button, or the PayPal link, and become a partner in my harvest today. My child, do not let this divine appointment fade into a memory. I have waited patiently for this moment to speak truth into your heart, and now, your declaration will be the thunder that echoes my whisper. Affirm to your own soul, and declare to the heavens, that you have received what I have waited so long to give you. Seal this encounter in faith. Type with unshakable conviction so all may witness. I heard the word I was waiting for. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.